Good morning. This is the Morning Rant, and I'm your host, JahLogic. And with me, I have my three co-hosts, Stephon, Vanessa Smilez, and Schoolboy. The team.
Good morning, man. Good morning. Glad to be back here again.
Yes. I'm glad to have everybody back with us. Vanessa, how you doing?
I'm good. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Schoolboy. Yeah, so I'm glad to be back as well, even though I might have got disowned after the last show.
Oh.
Episode 10 was kind of crazy, but I'm glad we made it to episode 10. Let's keep it going. But it definitely was crazy. I think thanks to Schoolboy and some of the comments in the chat, you know what I'm saying? Schoolboy, like, what did I do? You know what I mean? But I think I don't know, Vanessa. You gotta. I know you've been busy, but you might have to want to rewatch yesterday's show. It kind of got a little.
I seen the beginning of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched it back on YouTube, but I'm gonna watch the whole thing and see what y'all got into.
Kind of went left, but but salute to the couple we spoke about, the woman who lost her fiance
boyfriend. Yeah.
Oh wow. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So on a serious note, salute to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday just got a little crazy, went a little left. But yeah, I'm happy to be back, and this is the Morning Rant, like I said already. And we're going to get into some stories, as we always do. What we like to do here at the Morning Rant is we like to give you current news, as well as some news that's maybe not so current, but it is something we can evaluate to help you come up with a conclusion based on the news. I know a lot of us are swamped with news, and we don't know what to listen to. And, some of it is shit you can use for food for thought, and some of it is just propaganda. But I feel like when we talk about it as a panel, we kind of get to the bottom of things and find the subtext and kind of read between the lines.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So salute to everybody on the check-in that's watching on Facebook as well as YouTube. And once again, this is the Morning Rant. So our first article that we're going to go into today is a little bit of an update, and this was submitted to us by Vanessa, right? Correct, Vanessa?
Yes, Thotty Topics, or Thought Topics.
I guess this would be considered a thought topic, even though the reason you send it to us not necessarily because she
hasn't been thotty. It's
right.
She's not being thotty in it. It's just
she's actually being seen in a different light, correct?
Yes, I believe so. And
the she that we're talking about is Megan Thee Stallion, and this article comes to us from Essence, and we're going to watch a video that was put on WorldStar as well. But this article comes to us from Essence.com, and it states Megan Thee Stallion gives an update on her mental health after shooting incident. It goes on to say the rapper, who is still grieving the death of her mother, speaks to the public for first time since allegedly being shot by fellow rapper Tory Lanez. Real quick, I just want to say she wasn't allegedly shot. She was shot.
But she wasn't. Well, she's still allegedly shot by Tory Lanez because she hasn't.
Right. So I think they put the alleged in the wrong place. I think shot allegedly by Tory Lanez. But she wasn't allegedly shot. She definitely was shot in her foot.
Both feet, actually.
Oh wow. So I'm going to read some of the article here. It says rising star Megan Thee Stallion is on the mend after what she describes as the worst experience of my life. The Houston, Texas native was allegedly shot by fellow rapper Tory Lanez, whom she was seen partying with the same night. In her first public appearance since the incident, the rapper hopped on Instagram. Yo. All right. To confirm that she was shot in both feet. Wow. Which required surgery to remove the bullet fragments. Beyond just the physical pain, Megan also appeared to be experienced deep emotional trauma. And they quote her saying, "It's not that I was protecting anybody. I just wasn't ready to speak." Megan explained regarding her brief hiatus. That's no shit you just immediately get on the internet and start talking about. They also quote her saying. So, there's a video. The YouTube video is pretty long, so we're going to play the one that comes to us via World Star because they edited it up for us. So salute to that editor. So let me pull that up for us really quick. And we're going to get into it and see her talk about the situation and hear the words from her own mouth. All right?
Whack ass shit. But I also see a lot of people that have been being very supportive and sending prayers, and I just really appreciate that. I saw the hotties doing a lot of things like writing letters on Tumblr and DMing me all the time, and I just want to say thank y'all so much because y'all really been the ones that been helping me get through this. I was shot in both of my feet. I was shot in both of my feet, and I had to get surgery to get the shit taken out, get the bullets taken out. And it was super scary. Oh Lord, I didn't think I was gonna cry. But yeah, I had to get surgery. It was super scary. It was like just the worst experience of my life. And it's not funny. There's nothing to joke about. It was nothing for y'all to start going and making up fake stories about. I didn't put my hands on nobody. I didn't deserve to get shot and do shit. And thank God that the bullets didn't touch bones. They didn't break tendons. I know my mama, my daddy, my granny had to be looking out for me with that one because where the bullets hit at, it missed everything. But the motherfuckers was in there. And it's not that I was protecting anybody. I just wasn't ready to speak. That's not no shit you just immediately get on the internet and start talking about. And that's a lot of y'all motherfucking problem. Y'all take y'all whole life to Instagram and Twitter and make it a fucking diary. And that's not.
Okay. She spoke, but I still didn't hear her say much.
Yeah, I mean, even towards the, I caught the live when she was doing it from her IG, and even going towards the end of the video, she started to talk more about like how, her mom and them, obviously, like she said, it was watching over them, and how, people don't understand what it's like to be a person in the world who doesn't have any parents at all, and that she's 25 and she's trying to navigate her life and stuff like that. So she went on to talk about how just the experience overall changed her and affected her like as a person. So, and for me, I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard about this situation, for me, my main thing was when she did not come out and say anything about it, it left the room for, people to make jokes, because for me, my mindset was, you're not taking it this serious, so why should the public, But even in this instance, I appreciate her for coming forward and speaking on what happened. The fact that she's not saying a name, maybe it's probably obviously because of legal reasons. I do feel like it's important for her to be completely transparent about this if she wants people to authentically be able to, take the situation in the right way.
Right. Fair assessment. We spoke on this before, but this was somewhat of an update. Steph, you have any words or thoughts about her talking about it finally?
I'm actually with you, man. It wasn't a lot of new information presented. I mean, only new information I got from this video was the fact that she was shot in both her feet.
Right.
As far as I feel, man, I still feel the same way as I did when we talked about it earlier. It's not a joking matter. I know oftentimes we forget celebrities are human and we clown.
Right.
But this is still a young woman, still trying to navigate through life, you know what I'm saying? And you end up she lost both her parents, so she probably trying to fill a void and got clowns around her, and ended up getting shot in the foot.
Right.
Happens.
Yeah, I would hope not, but I guess it does. But yeah, domestic is definitely real. You know what I mean?
That's what automatically happens. Like you lose your parents and get shot in the feet.
I mean,
Dang.
I mean,
so that means Kanye got to get shot in the feet too.
That'll wake him up.
he's on his way. He keep talking all that crazy shit. I mean, he gonna be real smart. He's not gonna be crazy after that.
Schoolboy. So what she said, yeah.
But yeah, man. I was watching the video and I was kind of distracted because I just really like boobs, and that's what I saw. And then at the end, she said something about not putting her whole life on Instagram and things like that. But I don't really know Meg Thee Stallion, but I assume that she's pretty popular on social media.
Right.
So she puts a lot on social media. Then she comes out and says, well, I was shot in both my feet. And that's all I have to say. If Tory Lane shot you, why did he shoot you? Because I just don't know that people are just pulling out guns and shooting people in the feet.
And why didn't she say him?
Yeah, it could happen like that, but you're not trying to save anybody, but you're on Instagram every day, all the time. But you can't tell us who shot you when you was in the car with the person. I want to take her seriously, but I think that this is a case of clout chasing.
I just want her to do a freestyle over the who shot your beat now.
Oh, shit.
I think it'd be dope.
I'm trying to figure out, how do you clout chase from getting shot in the foot? You know what I'm saying?
People clout chase from getting shot all the time.
But my dude, she didn't say nothing for a week. That's not clout chasing. That's being
because
quiet.
she was recovering and under drug medication for the pain in her feet. I mean, bro, that makes sense.
You hear yourself?
Or the Beyonce witchcraft kept her quiet.
You know what it was? You know what it is? Schoolboy hater. That's what this is. Schoolboy is a certified Meg hater.
What would I be hating about? I don't want to be Meg.
Nah, man. I think it's because when women control their own narrative about themselves and their sexuality, they tend to not be liked by the public.
That's true. That's fact. Something could really aggressively happen to someone who is open about themselves or their sexuality, and it's just not taken in a normal light. And I like what she said at the end of the video, because that's what actually reached out to me the most. She said at the end of her video, she's like, how would you guys feel if it's, you know, your sister, your aunt, your cousin, you know, a close family member who got shot? Like, how would you react to that? And that's a very, very valid point. Sometimes when girls are appeared in a certain light, people don't ever see them as sisters, aunts, cousins, or whatever the case may be. They just see them one way, and they, I guess, forget to realize that they are human as well.
Well, as a family coming from a family of some very admitted hoes, I can say here today that if one of you Negroes shoot me or mine in the foot, we're telling. You know, don't let me find out. I'm telling. I want the police to know that I was shot in the foot by your raggedy Negro ass, and I don't appreciate that.
Yeah,
So,
I kind of expected Meg to really go white woman all the way with this. I mean,
she did.
No, she didn't. The white woman would have had a press conference with CNN on like the front steps of the court in Los Angeles. Like, she, you know, with her lawyer behind her. Like, that's what I was really expecting her to do. And the fact that she didn't, I was like, oh, come on, Megan.
Okay. We have a message from Ty West. He says, top of the morning to you, good brother.
What's up?
Yeah, I mean, she didn't offer much information. She didn't tell Twitter who shot her. We don't know if she's going to tell the law enforcement who shot her. But the way she was getting emotional, I would assume that she is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I know Tory Lanez, his heart is probably somewhere. If he is guilty of as charged from the public, I know he's somewhere panicking. You know what I mean? Counting down his last days. And because I don't see this being something he's going to just get away with a, you know, a slap on the wrist, if it in fact is true that he did that. And if she's not planning on telling the law, then she might have other plans for him. So, you know, don't be surprised if he did do it, if he turns up missing or dead. You know?
Hey, Logic. Another thing is, man, see, it's not even like the good old days when you could snitch in peace. You know what I'm saying? Now you get harassed for snitching. People just want to snitch in peace, and she don't want to make a public snitch statement. She want to snitch to the authorities, and in a one-on-one room. She don't want to tell the whole world on Instagram. Respect that.
Yeah, she needs to call T.I. on Crime Stoppers to make sure that she can anonymously make her report about being shot in the foot.
That's
in the same car with the person who shot her, and she doesn't know who it is.
Not to T.I. and his podcast. He gonna answer it. He gonna leak the whole conversation on his show.
The good old. I don't know if there was a good old days where people.
I think snitching was much worse before. I mean, I don't think that the protection around snitching was as good then as it is now. I mean, people are really protected now. Before, dudes would snitch and then they just walk right on the street and hopefully make it home.
Shout out to Tekashi 6ix9ine.
He's snitching in peace.
That dude is sleeping very well.
Yeah.
After telling on his team. All right, so speaking of being a star and having privacy, this next article titled "Before Hack: Twitter Contractors Caught Spying on Users, Including Beyonce," comes to us by way of Bloomberg.org. Bloomberg.com. Excuse me. I'm going to read some of it. Seems interesting to me. I don't know if it'd be interesting to everybody, but I feel like Twitter's, employees spying on people sounds pretty dangerous, especially the fact that they have technology at their disposal. Twitter Incorporated has struggled for years to police the growing number of employees and contractors who have the ability to reset users' accounts and override their security settings. Schoolboy, let me mute your mic. I'm hearing the echo from your end. To get back to article, excuse me. Excuse me, what I leave off employees of the contract. Right. A problem that Chief Executive Officer Jack Dorsey and the board were warned about multiple times since 2015, according to former employees with knowledge of the company's security operations. Twitter's oversight over the 1,500 workers who reset accounts, review under breaches, and respond to potential content violations for the services. 186 million daily users have been a source of reoccurring concern. The employee said personal data most of those workers could access is relatively limited. Um, Including such things as internet protocol address. I guess that's the IP address, email address, and phone numbers. But it's a starting point to snoop on or even hack an account. They said the controls were so at the point in 2017 and 2018, some contractors made a kind of game out of creating bogus help desk inquiries that allowed them to peek into celebrity accounts, including Beyonce's, to track the star's personal data, including their approximate locations. Oh, wow. From their devices and IP address. Two of the former employees said concerns about Twitter's ability to protect users' data uh, this month after depended this month after hackers hijacked the accounts of some of the famous users, including political leaders, business titans, and celebrities, as part of an apparent cryptocurrency scam. The pressure on Twitter to protect its users isn't limited to the personal data it collects on them, uh, which is minimal compared to some other social media sites, but extends to the influence its users widely, especially world leaders or political who oppose them, or politicians who oppose them. All right, so that's pretty interesting. I'm gonna jump up out of there, and yeah. So basically, what they're saying is these websites that we use, Twitter, and I'm going to go out on a ledge and say also like like they said, other sites actually take more information, such as like probably Instagram and or Facebook, which is now like connected. You connect these accounts and post these accounts simultaneously. The workers, if you're popular enough or hated enough, could stalk you. You know what I mean? So, what's your thoughts on that? I'm gonna start with you, Steph.
See, that's why I don't use Twitter. See, the way they moving it don't really it don't make sense. Like Congress has had meetings and like with Mark Zuckerberg where they're talking about the protection and the safety of the public, and Twitter really hasn't been held accountable as Facebook has. And not that Facebook is actually um like the beacon of the right thing to do or anything like that, but at least they've had the discussion. I don't remember ever Twitter doing this, and this has been the thing going on as of lately. It was a bunch of people that were hacked recently, if I recall.
So basically, some of these people, when they say they've been hacked, maybe they've been telling the truth. Some of these people get hacked or say they get hacked and have crazy messages posted on their wall, and then they say they've been hacked.
And why is it when niggas get hacked, there's always they always saying some gay shit
before they get hacked?
I guess
right.
The easiest joke someone could think of. I don't know, but you're right though. I'm not going to mention some of the rappers that I remember that apparently said some gay shit, but they definitely said they were hacked afterwards. Schoolboy, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I don't really mess with Twitter that much because of that issue. Along with the fact that I think they actually closed my Twitter down because I was called an N-word, and I responded by calling some chick a B-word, and as a result, my account was closed indefinitely. Yeah. So I was like, well, why can't I respond to somebody calling me the N-word by calling them a bitch? And
Hold on. You called a white woman the B-word?
No, it was a black woman.
And they still shut it down?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They definitely did because they just didn't like what I was saying. I don't let people equate. I don't let people just call me an N-word if I don't know them like that. Like you haven't earned that right. I'm not your N-word. Anyway, so that's one of the reasons why I don't mess with Twitter. I just, and every time I try to start a new account, they just shut it down. Honestly.
Oh wow.
So that's another reason why I haven't been on Twitter. But yeah, them spying on people is very concerning because of the fact that there are places on Twitter where you can organize a lot of things socially via Twitter, find out what's going on in the city via Twitter. And if they're tracking people like that, it's only a matter of time before somebody's knocking on your door because it's something you were doing in the streets to exercise your First Amendment. And that's definitely not the move. Hopefully these celebrities start suing Twitter and winning, and that would be helpful to all of us, to be honest.
Vanessa?
I think that it's definitely, like you said, not only concerning, it's definitely alarming, because I think that when any employee works for a company, you are held to a certain standard. It's one thing for, strangers to find your information and, strangers to show up at your doorstep, whatever the case may be. But if you are an employee of a company, like, it's your job to protect the people that you're working for. I used to work for a bank. I wasn't going out and giving people's account information. These are just things that you take an oath not to do because you are an employee of the job. But I just want to say this. I use Twitter. Twitter is one of the most, I guess, one of the platforms that I have the most followers on. And for me, I've never had an issue with it. But I personally think that with any platform that you get on now, you are setting yourself up to possibly have your information spread across anywhere. Anytime you engage in any online activity, that is setting yourself up potentially to be exploited or to be, having your information shown all over the place. So I think that anytime people engage, they're always going to have that risk. No matter what platform they're using. Even recently, I know that the government has been trying to ban TikTok from being used in the United States. I know that India has already banned TikTok, but even with that, people being concerned with that, TikTok created this whole now monetization program. So now people can get paid for their TikTok videos or whatever the case may be. So I guess they're trying to appeal to the U.S. audience to maybe, retain their audience that they have here. But even with that, I understand things like this is understanding as to why the government would do something like that. Because now, even with the TikTok situation, they're concerned that the Chinese government could utilize that to spy on U.S. Americans, which is not a good thing either. But people have to have this understanding that once you go on the internet, once you engage in any of these platforms, you have the potential to have your information to be sent anywhere.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think it's just basically human error. You know what I mean? These companies are ran by, just human beings that idol worship, just like, most of the other people out here. So you definitely got to be careful. If you are a celebrity, I would hope they would have the people around them that are wise enough to let them know, like, protect your information, your IP address, etc. But, speaking of Twitter and, specifically, Twitter has become like a pseudo Pornhub too, no?
Exactly. I use Twitter because I can put porn up and not have a problem.
And that's why I'm so angry, because I had all kind of like systems set up so I could track my favorite stars and stuff like that. And now it's all gone.
I feel so bad for you. I'm sorry about that.
And the mornings won't be the same anymore.
Schoolboy had a porn algorithm.
Absolutely.
Oh wow, interesting.
What's that chick's name? What's that chick's name? Julie something.
Julie Ginger.
Man. Nah, there's a black girl, light skin. Julie K. Julie K. Yeah, she had a black moment, and she finally was like, I'm not messing with these other folks no more because they don't be treating me right. She kind of aged out of their little system. So now she wasn't really cool no more. But I'm still a big fan. So if she sees this, just know that I'm saying hello. Hello, is it me?
Yeah, Twitter is the only place you can put that stuff up, and they will not take it down.
Which I find is a little weird. At the same time, Twitter's employees are stalking people, so people got to be careful. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
some of these women might end up with a a whole hacker knocking at their door. But all right, so speaking of public information going public rather, there's a site called ProPublica who decided that they're going to release thousands of police discipline records. And I'm going to read the article as said by them, the people who's actually going to release the records. So they go to say, we're publishing thousands of police discipline records that New York kept secret for decades. ProPublica obtained these police records from New York City Civilian Complaint Review Board. NYPD unions are suing to halt the city from making the data public. So I'm gonna read some of this article and then we'll get to it. So ProPublica is a nonprofit newsroom that investigates abuses of power. Until last month, New York State prohibited the release of police officers' disciplinary records. Civilians' complaints of abuse by officers were secret. So were investigators' conclusions. The public couldn't even know if an officer was punished. The New York City police officer whose use of prohibited chokehold led to the death of Eric Garner in 2014 had a record of misconduct. Garner's last words, "I can't breathe," became a rallying cry for Black Lives Matter movement. The city investigator who revealed the existence of the officer's records was forced to resign in 2017. Interesting. The officer himself wasn't fired until 2019. When the death of George Floyd and footage of his pleas for his life ignited worldwide protests, activists in New York renewed their push to repeal the statute that kept disciplinary records under wraps, known as 50A. State lawmakers finally acted, voting to repeal the provision which had been on the books for decades. Soon after, ProPublica asked New York Civilian Complaint Review Board, or CCRB, for a list of officers along with the complaints against them and what discipline, if any, had been recommended. Today, we are making this information public and with it providing an unprecedented picture of civilians, complaints of abuse by NYPD officers, as well as the limits of the current system that is supposed to hold officers accountable. We've published a database that lets you search the police complaints so you can see the information for yourself. So I'm going to revamp the title of the description of this video, and I'm going to put the link to that in the description. But how you feel about them airing out the police officers in their dirty laundry?
Ooh, man, it's about time, man. Listen, they've been moving with impunity, and like they said, we don't even know if we'll file a complaint, it can go viral, but we won't even know if the officer had been disciplined, or you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times, I remember in a few of these cases, we found out that the officer was on paid leave for killing somebody. It's like, yo, that's a vacation. Paid leave is a vacation. You're rewarding somebody for murder. Like, so the fact that this came out in this public information, the fact that this wasn't public information to begin with is the problem, right? The fact that they can disclose what's going on. It's like, y'all work for the public. It's supposed to be public information. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you want to find my arrest record, y'all can Google me. You know what I'm saying? You'll find out everything. My shit on the table, but yours not. That ain't how it go.
I'd agree with you there. Schoolboy.
So I was watching a congressional testimony a couple of weeks ago, and they mentioned the fact that our current policing policies come from slave patrols. That's what the law enforcement experts said. That's not, conspiracy theory. He went in front of Congress and was like, yeah, currently, that little badge that we see, a little sheriff's badge, was a slave patrol badge. And unfortunately, that's just what it is. Because, I might not say so. So he said so, and I agree. One of the reasons why the police and the police union specifically, we're fighting the city, we're fighting everybody instead of the police unions, and that's what we really need to be dialing in on, because police do some of the most heinous crimes in uniform, and they're protected by the police union. Anytime we say that anyone else should be unionized, is demonized. But the police, no problem, no problem. Meanwhile, the police are raping, killing, robbing, and all sorts of abuses are happening behind that badge, and we have no clue about it. We don't know if the person's been held accountable. We don't know if the person is still on the street. We know pretty much nothing unless someone sues on our behalf for us to get that information. This is long overdue. And I think that if we really want to regain control in the streets, as far as the country goes, in terms of law and order, quote unquote, then we have to start at the beginning. Start with holding the police accountable, and then people have a lot more respect for the police when they see them. But if a police officer comes up to me and says, let me search your pockets, et cetera, I'm gonna be on the defensive. Like, damn, he about to steal from me. I already know that because he's gonna get away with it. There's nothing I'm gonna be able to do about it.
I understand that logic, but it's a good, like you said, great start, Schoolboy, but I don't think it's enough. I think that there still needs to be a law in place that that officers would have to abide by as well. And I feel like, if you are committing heinous crimes, you should be held to a certain law, even though they are now displaying whatever the repercussions are for their actions are. We don't even know what the repercussions could be. They could still go, with this coming out, they could still go out and kill somebody. And yeah, they're just now going to list it as paid leave on there. Like that's what they're still going to be able to get away with doing those things. They're just like, now we're just going to show you and tell you exactly what we're doing, even though we're not going to do anything about it. I still feel like there needs to be laws in place to hold these people accountable and to actually be able to put them under the jail, because sometimes when you don't have that, it leaves a huge room for discussion. And when it comes to certain heinous acts and crimes, I do not believe that there's room for discussion. I believe that there's just room for penalty. And I feel like until we have something that's sure for that, then we're still crawling a little bit.
I hear you. I agree with you all. I think at the same time, it's not either or. I think we need all hands on deck. You know what I mean? So we need all these different avenues. So if they're gonna be if putting that shit on blast is part of it, then I think that's a good move. But at the same time, I agree with Vanessa that we have to do other things. So, and I agree with Schoolboy. Police unions are who we need to press, in the lack of words, you know what I mean, about a lot of these things. Because I don't know, in New York City, I don't know if y'all know this guy. I forgot his name, but the guy who's the in charge of the police union in New York City, that guy's a joke. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say, did you see the video with him crying, doing a press conference crying? He was saying that this is right after the George Floyd thing happened. It was him and a bunch of police officers behind him. He was crying, saying that the public is making the police officers look bad. There are good officers out there that do their job. He feels so sorry. He can't even go home. I was just like, oh my God. So we're supposed to feel sorry for you now. Like, it was hilarious.
Yeah, that guy's a joke. It doesn't matter what the police do. He's always going to stand on their side. He's never going to take responsibility. He's never going to penalize his own. And that.
But that's what makes him a good union boss, and that's the reason why other forms of labor need unions too. I mean, he's doing what he's getting paid to do. His job is to go out there and no fake crime. Oh God, I can't go home because my police officers out here shooting people and they're not getting away with it no more. It just breaks my heart. That's what he's supposed to do.
He was out here boo-hooing, and I'm like, sir, please.
I seen him talking some shit about you can't stain this badge, and he was a lot of antics, a lot of dramatic, he was very dramatic. If you're just now coming in the room, if you're just now joining the show, whether you're on Facebook and or YouTube, we first started this episode talking about Megan Thee Stallion. She finally opened up, not enough in my opinion, but she finally opened up about getting shot, and apparently it was in both feet. We also spoke about Twitter having some employees who are stalking people, including celebrities, And now we're talking about Publica, a website and or nonprofit organization who is releasing the civilian complaint reports of officers. And I think the general census is we agree that it's a good move, but more has to be done. Speaking of releasing reports, there's another article that we had in our chat and we're going to speak about today. And this comes to us from Newsweek. And this article is based on Epstein, right? Jeffrey Epstein. And the title is Judge Rules Virginia, I can't say this last name, so let's just say G, lawyers must destroy Jeffrey Epstein's files. They want to destroy his files. A judge ruled that it makes sense to destroy the files. I'm going to read some of the article and then we're going to get into it. Attorneys for Virginia who publicly accused Jeffrey Epstein of sex trafficking must destroy files they obtained on Epstein after a Wednesday ruling by a federal judge. Epstein was arrested in July 2019 on charges of sex trafficking and conspiracy to engage in sex trafficking. Allegedly, Epstein procured women to have sexual relations with high-profile individuals such as, wow, they're going there, Prince Andrew. Information about Epstein called from the 2015 civil suit filed against Epstein by this Miss Virginia allegedly contained the names of individuals whom Epstein had conducted business. Senior U.S. District Judge Loretta Herska ruled Wednesday that Virginia's lawyers had come into possession of the documents improperly, nothing that the protective order could only be enforced during the civil lawsuit proceedings, which had already been settled. Herska wrote that all the materials in the files shall be destroyed. Interesting. I don't think we have to read any more.
Wow. I think it's a good thing, though. I think so. I think that's a good thing, simply because I feel like it more so protects the victims, if anything. Because if these documents are having the victims' names on it, then who knows what kind of ties that Epstein has, where any of those people who was involved could still be targeted. Any of those victims could still be targeted. So sometimes maybe destroying that particular evidence, that might work in their favor so they don't have to be tracked down.
I mean, destroying is a little heavy-handed of a response for that, but I see your logic in reference to protecting people. But yeah, Stephon.
We live in an information era. People are paying trillions of dollars to have information, and you rule to destroy information, and y'all don't think nothing wrong with that. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? If you say, oh, we're not going to release it to the public or something like that, okay, we get that. But to destroy it, that does not make sense. And then also, I find it crazy because, you know, Jeffrey was arrested twice. The first time he just pled out with like a little minor, like to something minor, right? And then they had to go back and recatch him. You see what I'm saying? So so it's already it's people with money who, you know what I'm saying, with clout and power who are wrapped up in this. It's not an accident that it's just that they asked to destroy these documents. You know what I'm saying? If you start to look as we get a closer look on this and stuff starts coming out, you're gonna see judges and lawyers and politicians. They make some they're gonna start making some questionable decisions, and you be like, why would you do that? But then you'll understand why, because they a lot of people wrapped up in this, man.
That's a good way to put it.
Schoolwork.
Yeah, same. I think that they're going to be losing a lot of information. There's, we've seen files redacted and whatnot. So they could definitely do that. They could seal it somewhat so that at least the litigants could have access to the information, if not the general public. But when we're talking about crimes against children, of course, they have to protect these minors, etc. But we really want to be able to see the people that we see on TV every day that were on that flight log, if they were involved. That's important. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be pushing my kids into Will Smith movies if he was getting down with little boys and little girls on Jeffrey Epstein's airplane. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. His airplane was an exclusive club, and it just so happens some really exclusive stuff happened at his locations. So I think we need to go ahead and clear the air. And unfortunately, what we're seeing, I mean, you know, Tom Hanks and his wife just moved to damn Poland, I think, or something like that. They moved to,
Greece.
what was it? Greece. Yeah, like why are they moving to Greece all of a sudden? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be very interesting to see over the next couple of years if Ghislaine Maxwell gets through her trial, to see the type of movements that a lot of powerful people are starting to make to get away from the justice that they really should be receiving here in the United States.
They didn't just move there; they became citizens.
Right. Yeah.
They turned their passports in.
Yeah, they became whole citizens of Greece.
I think, Stephon, you made a great point, because I didn't think about that. I'm thinking about the protection of the victims, but in essence, with what they're doing, it may protect the aggressors more than it will protect the victims. So
yeah, I mean, because the victims, they already know who they are. They violated them, so they can always, you know, if they wanted to, you know, cut loose ends. I mean, that wouldn't be hard for the aggressors. They know who they victimize. You know what I mean? So I think it's very heavy-handed to destroy all of the files. But you know, the law is funny like that too. But then it's also like selective times when people want to follow the law, and that's what's so funny about it. So they're claiming that they attained these files illegally or wrongfully or whatever, but at the same time, you know, there's plenty of shit they'll turn a blind eye to. But this is when they want to actually pay attention and, you know, destroy files. But they did say it was a federal judge, and one thing I know from going to court in the past with suing the police department, which they say if you go federal, if there's anything wrong with your case, they'll throw that shit out. You know what I mean? Like the feds don't play that as far as their courts. So if there's anything, if you're wrong on any part of it, they're going to use that against you. You know, no matter how right you are or in the right you are, they will use it against you. So I think it's heavy-handed. I think they shouldn't destroy the files. I think they should at least go. The federal court should find a way of getting these files the right way. Because if anybody should be concerned with justice, it should be the federal courts.
Yeah.
We got a good morning from Slim. Virginia Slim says, "Peace and good morning. Peace and good morning to you."
Good morning, Virginia Slim.
Good morning.
Yes. Shout out to the rep. So this next article comes to us by way of CNN Health. This is, I guess, somewhat of a COVID update. And I'm sure you heard that the first vaccine has been given. And it's been given to a Georgia news anchor. So the title reads, Georgia news anchor receives first shot in U.S. phase 3 trial of a COVID vaccine. And they quote her saying, "I never thought I'd do something like this." You think? I'm not even gonna read it. I'm just gonna play the video. Let it speak for itself. But I will say salute to this crash test dummy and all the other crash test dummies out there still doing shit for us to figure out how safe the outside really is. I mean, this is ridiculous at the same time. But all right, let's go.
Calling out of Hinesville tonight. Don Baker usually delivers the news.
You'll verify your name again.
But Monday morning, this television anchor in Savannah, Georgia, made history as the first person in the United States to participate in a phase 3 clinical trial for a vaccine against COVID-19.
Big day. Certainly is. It's really exciting to me that I could be a part of saving lives eventually. I mean, instead of just being scared and praying.
After Don's injection, study leader Dr. Paul Bradley called Moderna the company that makes the vaccine.
Connor, I have amazing news. We dosed the first patient.
The National Institutes of Health is collaborating on the trial. Dr. Anthony Fauci marked the day on a call with the media.
I can tell you absolutely the first one was at 6:45 this morning in Savannah, Georgia. Indeed, we are participating today in the launching of a truly historic event in the history of vaccinology.
There are nearly 90 study sites across the country for this vaccine, and phase 3 trials are underway for 4 other vaccines, 3 of those in China and 1 in the United Kingdom.
Hi, how are you?
Scientists hope that results of Moderna's trial will be clear in a few months and a vaccine on the market by the end of this year or the beginning of next. But that's if the vaccine is proven safe and effective, which is not a given.
Let me explain how the Moderna vaccine trial works. This is the vaccine, and about 15,000 people nationwide will get injected with this during the clinical trial. Now, this looks similar to the vaccine, but actually it's a placebo. It doesn't do anything. It's just saline. And another 15,000 people will be injected with this. And then afterwards, doctors will compare who gets sick with COVID-19 and who doesn't.
Doctors are recruiting study subjects who live in communities where they're most likely to get COVID, so they can see if the vaccine truly works.
We want people who are going to be exposed out there in the community, living their lives, whether they're, say, a healthcare worker, where unfortunately we get exposed frequently. Maybe they're working in a grocery store, but we want people that are unfortunately at risk.
That's why doctors are recruiting heavily among the African American and Latino communities, where COVID rates are especially high. But it's a challenge because historically those communities have been abused in medical research.
Very suspicious. So maybe, since I was at least bold enough to come forward right now, that might change that.
Coming forward to play a part in ending a pandemic that has brought the world to its knees.
You are the first person in the United States to get a shot in a phase 3 COVID trial. What does that feel like?
It is very exciting. I'm very anxious about it. I just hope that they're really, really good results. I know a lot of people are doing a lot of different vaccine trials and things are going on, but I feel so proud.
Elizabeth Cohen joins us now. Elizabeth, phase 3, obviously it's a big step. How much confidence is there that this will work?
As Dr. Fauci said, he and others are cautiously optimistic. That's because, Anderson, they've already tried this vaccine out in dozens of people in earlier trials. And what they found was that they got a good immune response. They looked at the patient's blood. It looked good. There were good antibodies that theoretically, and I stress the word theoretically, should fight off COVID-19. But now this is the real world. They're going to vaccinate these people, put them out into the world, and see if it works. This, Anderson, is the real test.
Oh my God.
Great Big Story, a new podcast about the delightful, the surprising.
Have Black people forgot about the Tuskegee experiment?
Apparently she did. First, salute the,
What? But you know what?
yeah.
I was gonna say, like, being in Georgia and understanding the culture there for a long time, it's a lot of Negroes in Georgia who can't wait to be the first, but to sit on that white seat. So it just is what it is. Like, people are gonna be, oh, that's racist. It might be, but it's also a cultural nuance that some people just can't wait to get a pat on the head, and good girl, stuff like that. They just like that. And so when I have medical professionals all around me, I work in the healthcare industry. No one from the associate level to the PhD doctors are saying, I can't wait to get that phase 3 trial in my blood. They're all saying, I'm not taking that shit for at least a year and a half when I can prove that other people aren't dying from it. So if the people injecting you aren't taking it, maybe you shouldn't take it either. If it was such a big thing, why didn't the nurses take it first?
Yeah. I just hate the fact that it was a Black woman. Like, I don't even care if Timmy from Portland, Oregon would have came out and took it. I'd be like, oh, this is a great thing. But the fact that it has to be a Black woman, I'm like, have America taught you guys anything?
Hey, listen, it's a 50-50 chance. So basically she could walk into the world, never get exposed, and have a great life going forward. But if she hooked up on the ventilator like Herman Cain next week, hey, you know, that's life. That's life. You took them chances and you got your reward.
No, she gonna have three titties 20 years from now. Talking about, yeah, I took that vaccine and I just grew an extra titty.
Last thing I remember years ago, there was a lady who took a flu vaccine and she literally could not walk anymore.
She could only walk backwards.
She could only walk backwards and run, but whenever she tried to walk, she'd be like, like for real. I'm not even trying to joke. Like that's really what she was doing, and I was just like, damn, son, I don't think I need a flu vaccine no more. Like it's just that simple.
Steph, what's your thoughts, brother?
One, I have to address this. You seen when she was walking into the doctor's office and and she was surrounded by white people clapping and cheering her on. Oh, that was a coon's dream moment. White adulation, okay? White validation was what she lives for. Okay. She needed that white approval, okay, and she got it. You know what I'm saying? You understand me? You can tell she be buck dancing for white people on the regular. So let's now that I got that out the way. Black people, up your fire, okay? They making zombies out here. This nigga gonna be a zombie. It's gonna be a team of zombies. You gonna have to shoot a nigga in the head. Say that now. These niggas gonna be zombies, dog. Like, and not like, maybe not like Walking Dead zombies, but like, you know, crackhead, what's that shit? The opioid zombies. You better be careful, man.
No, I'm prone to think that the Walking Dead shit is gonna happen, man. I don't know, man. I thought I thought kids were crazy. Like a lot of kids who love zombie shit. I remember I was working in some schools and they was talking about the zombie apocalypse being real. And I'm like, these kids are crazy. You know what I mean? But then, you know, I don't know, Schoolboy, you can back me on this. You know, Schoolboy is pretty well versed in the Bible. Isn't it even in the Bible they talk about a time where people being undead or not being able to die?
I'm not sure about that. There's a lot of interpretation, so that could be open to interpretation. But yeah, you know,
it could be the mark of the beast.
Yeah, a lot of people supposed to come back to life, me walk around here making decisions and stuff like that about what they're gonna do next, that type of thing. So that's gonna be interesting to see if all the things that are in the Bible come true. It's gonna be a whole lot of people out here looking crazy. Yo, but you know what? I found some footage of this lady walking into the doctor's office. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but let me just see.
Send it in the chat.
There you go. Do you hear that?
Nah, send it. Yeah, we hear it.
Yeah.
He's tap dancing.
What?
Yeah. This is what was playing when she walked into the doctor's office.
My God.
That's what happened. I mean, she's really happy. You know, she's really happy that they went ahead and put down a hard floor for her and said, "Do that little dance, y'all do." You know, and she just started doing all that. And they was like, "All right, we're gonna stick this in your arm." Oh,
I don't think she knew that the TV cameras was going to be there. So I think as soon as the TV cameras came, like she put on the extra jig. Like, oh, we lit.
She knew what time was. She said, "This is exciting." You know? Exciting. You know?
Oh, this bitch just set us back at least 200 years, yo.
Yo, I'm trying not to go in on her. I'm trying not to.
I am going on her. This bitch set us back 200 years just now.
She really. Yo, they used a couple choice words. I wish I was taking notes, but one of them that I do remember is they said what? Optimistically cautious. They're optimistically cautious about this vaccine. But one thing I did see, hopefully, you know, they said that part of the trial is to give placebo versions. So, you know, maybe, hopefully she got the placebo one.
Oh, that'll be some shit.
You know, hopefully she didn't get the real one, but I don't know. Salute to all the crash test dummies out there. I'm going to go to these comments. Keenan says, clout chasing heifer. Internet said it had to be a black female. I thought it's exactly. She said shaking my head. We're distraught about that as well. Dolphy Production said she's black. Good Lord. Back to backstory. She's already sick, so it doesn't matter. Sick in the head. The money, the money they're giving must be worth it. I wish her well. Oh, and thank you, other people to come. Yeah,
I don't think they paid her. I do think she volunteered.
Yeah, I don't think she got paid neither. I think I think they told her. I think they had an office meeting. Is what I think. I think they had an office meeting at her job, and they was like, it will be a good opportunity for our news station, for one of our anchors to take this vaccine. And she fucking raised her hand. I would have called out sick. She's bugging the fuck out.
She probably didn't even wait for them to finish the pitch. Like,
right. Exactly. She's bugging the fuck. I would be scared as fuck, like, for until 2 years down the line, you know what I mean? I would be scared the whole 2 years of what might happen from, as a result of taking that shot. You know what I mean?
And unfortunately, I'm looking at her sitting in that seat, and it looks like she has a couple of comorbidities, as they say. She really needs to be careful. Seriously.
Right, exactly. Let me go to this other one. So Keenan says J Doug will be so proud. I felt that. And then Redemption Song says, good morning to you, Rep. Salute, always good to see you on the check-in. And then Keenan also says Revelations. So Revelations and other books, they speak about
Mark of the Beast.
Yeah, deeper than around the time of the Mark of the Beast, they talk about also it being a moment after the rapture or during the rapture, however you call it, where people can't die. So, which sounds like a zombie to me. To speak to what you guys were saying earlier when you said they're making zombies. So I just, I do hope that we get another crack at this thing called life. You know what I mean? I hope it's not the end all for us. You know what I'm saying? But the shit is starting to look so. You know what I mean? And we are not feeling that this woman took this first vaccine. We're not proud of you. I'm trying not to be mad at you, but I'm not glad with you. You know what I mean?
Somebody has to do it, though. That's the thing. Somebody has to step up. But the fact that she's the black woman who decided to do it, like when this whole thing first came out, there was speculation that black people couldn't even catch the vaccine. So the fact that it has to be a black woman to do this, I just think that she just set us back so many years, and we're gonna have to fight again.
When they were saying black people can't get it, that was phase 1. Now we're in phase 3. Okay, so phase 1 was y'all niggas go out there and see if y'all get this shit. Oh, y'all can't get it. Okay, well, we got a vaccine for that. Sorry.
Yeah, the other thing they said they want to give it to. They said they admitted it once again that they want to give it to black and Latino folks. Mm-hmm. And they also talked about basically essential workers and health workers, which overwhelmingly are black and Latino folks. And other people of color, like Filipinos, are heavy in the nursing industry. When they said, healthcare industry, we know they're not talking about the actual doctors. They're talking about the nurses, the home attendants. They're talking about people of that nature. And the essential workers, of course, they're talking about all the other occupations that we occupy. Like they also mentioned the grocery store and things like that.
So I got a question. Yeah. How much money would they have to pay you to take this phase 3 vaccine? I have a number.
A good question.
Yeah, I have a number. I would definitely do, like, if they said, all right, Kofi, we need a mascot for unique black people, and we're willing to offer you $500,000. I would be like, you know what? I need to sleep on that. It's a lot to think about. Then I'd take my black self home, and I'd sleep very well that night. And I come back to them and say, you know what? Make it $1 million. You got a deal. That's right.
And it would have to be tax free, though, correct?
I wouldn't even care at that point. One way or another, I'm getting that bag, baby. I'm getting that bag.
Steph, what's your number?
If it's straight cash, 100K. 100K.
100K.
Listen, 100K. I'm out here doing videos like T.I. with the Crime Stoppers. Hey man, man.
accident.
Hey man, don't worry about COVID-19. Come on down here to the clinic, get yourself a vaccine, man. Get yourself vaccinated.
Oh man, I don't know about 100K. How many kids you got, Steph?
I got 2.
No, man, you need more than 100K, bro.
I just need another to start my business, dog. I'm cool.
All right, Vanessa, what's your number?
I say 20 racks. I take 20 racks. Because that's realistic. They'll give somebody 20 racks. They are not shelling out. They're not going to shell out 100K. They're not shelling out 500K to no niggas. No.
Excuse me.
Not for niggas like.
I have to stop this panel right now at 8:51 a.m. All right, I'm gonna teach y'all a lesson about being on code. Okay, if I open up the bidding at $1 million, y'all niggas will come behind me. I'll do it for 100.
Well, you goddamn right.
Listen. You guys are off code, and I don't appreciate this, man. Matter of fact, I'm turning off my camera, man. I don't appreciate this at all. I'm not happy.
You know that's what's going to happen. Y'all up here talking about 100K and 500K. No, there is going to be a nigga who's going to come around the corner.
You know, this is why we can't have nothing nice. Because I'll buy my house and I'll pay $1 million for it. Y'all come on, hey, can I get a friend and family discount and all this stuff? Like, come on, man. Y'all gotta stop.
All right.
This.
Oh, Steph got something to say. Steph?
See, why would they get a nigga like you to do it for half a mil? They'll pay a nigga like Sammy 2,500. You know, little Sammy gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Little Sammy ain't doing nothing right now. So I'm cheaper than Sammy. It makes sense. I got to be cheaper than Sammy.
Oh, you don't? Listen. Oh, I'm
hey, Logic. Can you play that audio that I sent you in the chat, please? God.
Oh, let me get that.
Well, you know what? They probably
you better than little Sammy.
You know what? They probably were about to pay people, but this news anchor, she just put her hand up so damn fast. They was just like, oh, well, we don't need to pay nobody then.
Oh, my God. Listen. Hold on. The audio took a while, so I'll cue it up next time. Boy.
What's your number, Logic?
Hey, for y'all that didn't see this, those who are watching at home, he didn't even have, you know what I'm saying? He didn't even have a black people tap dancing. This is white people tap dancing audio.
That's because I'm on code. That's because I'm on code. Y'all better get it together. All right. It's rules to.
All right, before I go to the comments, what's my number? All right, so if I had to take the vaccine to influence other black people to take the vaccine, number. Yeah, damn. All right, first of all, I'll be trying my hardest not to, admit to myself that is to convince other black folk, because that alone would just make me not want to take the fucking money at all. But if they was off, if I had to take an offer, it would have to be $1 million and up. It would have to be, because, and it would have to be tax free. I know Schoolboy said he wouldn't mind the taxes. It would have to be tax free, because I would need to be able to basically die knowing I left my child with at least $1 million there. I wouldn't even be touching that money for my own personal anything. It would be literally, because I'm gonna die anyway. So it'll be literally to leave my son $1 million starters. You know what I mean? And then if they can't give me that, then fine, find somebody else. You know what I mean? I don't need to die no time soon. So I'm cool with living. You know what I mean? Or I'm cool with walking forward and not being stuck walking backwards or anything like that. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? So all right, so let me read the rest of these comments. Sleazyaki said they need to test people that don't give a fuck about life. That's a good point. Redemption says facts at Sleazy. Slim says Melinda Gates is quoted as saying Black and Latin American, Latino. What the fuck is wrong with me this morning? And Latin Americans should receive the vaccine first. Exactly. And they said it also in this article that we read/watched the video from, that they want to give it to Blacks and Latinos first. Redemption said military personnel also tend to be guinea pigs. And Slim also says $2 million upfront, and my family lineage will receive $2 million a year for the next 100 years. There you go. I'm not mad at that. It would have to be something to create some type of generational wealth. I couldn't do it for no upfront, little.
And the thing about it is that this is only a once every 100 years pandemic. This happens once every 100 years. So they're not going to have another chance to get another Negro like me to be out here in the community trying to promote you other Negroes to get that shot in your arm. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be 100 years before you get this chance again. It's worth $1 million.
But notice in the video, he said this is the start of what did he say? I forgot the word he used, of vaccinations or
the genocidal
he said the
sickness
start
that we're going to spread. What?
No, he said this. Fauci made a comment saying that this is going to be the start of vaccination. Something like, he didn't say vaccination. He used it as basically saying that this is the start of many vaccinations to come. So I feel like they're prepared to do more of this.
Yeah, they said they're going to do, I think, 1,500 people or something like that, and then another 1,500 the placebo, and they're going to have people thinking they was vaccinated and other people that are some weird shit. But
no, I'm meaning like many more diseases. Vaccinations to come from that.
I don't think they mention it in that way, but they possibly could. I think what's interesting at the start of this whole pandemic stuff is that there were people for years trying to say, including Obama, which I'm not saying that he just thought of it on his own, but there are industries that are practicing how to combat diseases like this, and they can come at any moment is what they're saying. But I don't trust mankind. I trust governments even less. So we don't know. A lot of this seems man-made, and it seems like a lot of it is coming with predictive programming and things of that nature. So
hey, just to kind of piggyback off what you just said, they did say they were going to run a trial of fake serums where they were just going to give people saline, correct?
Yeah.
So what kind of ghetto games they out here playing, man? What's the point of that? What's the point of that?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense either. But I guess to every experiment, there is always a placebo effect to test something. But in these circumstances, I don't really understand it, because you already have people out here without, a vaccine. So what does the placebo take in place of? You might as well just have people who are taking it and you study them, and just people who take nothing. The point of the placebo is, I don't know. I don't really get that either.
You gonna have niggas out here who just got a shot of saline thinking, hey man, I got that vaccine, I'm cool. I'm cured. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing gonna happen to me. Not washing his hands no more, thinking he's straight. And you gonna get this nigga in the hospital, man. They They need to chill on this.
I see some other articles saying that it's not just the one shot that's needed as well. So they're gonna have to take multiple shots. So it's not over for her or anybody. So they're gonna have to take more shots. I think at least 2.
So I gotta say 50 racks then.
Redemption says yes, placebos are needed. Elaborate if you can. Let us know why. I guess in the concept of doing surveys, you have to give someone a survey to ask those questions more than once. So maybe it's something like that.
No, the placebo is necessary to show, hey, we took 2 people in the same community, and put them into the community. One had the vaccine, one didn't. So the control is the person who has the placebo. They're the person who doesn't have anything really different other than a shot, and them thinking that they might be, cured from it. But the person who actually has a vaccine is the person who they gotta watch.
But that's the thing. When it comes to placebos, you have a controlled state. The controlled state is people who don't have the vaccine. So my mindset is like, why have the placebo is try to understand.
So why stop there? Why not just give them a fake shot? Why?
That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing.
But why shoot them with anything?
Well, yeah. Why don't you give them a plastic?
Because they want them to go along in their life as they would if they thought they got this vaccine.
Right, but here's what I'm saying. Why not just give them a pinch or something that make them think they got a shot? Since it's not even nothing in it anyway. Internet says they failed to mention 4 Ukraine soldiers died from the vaccine already.
Oh wow.
That's crazy. Redemption says placebos lends accountability to the testing, whether the drug is viable or not. Slim says placebos are needed for testing. The mind is powerful and has been proven to cure illness. And Slim says placebos also establish a testing sample. All right, good looking. See, we go crazy here on this show, but we have a smart audience. You know what I mean? I'm proud of that. All right, so we're gonna go to a Karen update. A Karen and Ken is crazy. We haven't talked about Karen and Ken for a while, and this article comes to us via the Washington Post. Disgraceful, plain and simple. Couple wearing Nazi flag mask at Walmart filmed in viral clash. And I'm gonna read some of the article, but of course I'd rather play the video since there's a video available. Ralphiella was strolling through Walmart on Saturday morning when a brief glimpse of two other shoppers in the Marshall, Minnesota, in they just put ... store stopped her dead in her tracks, fighting through disbelief that nearly rendered her speechless. Mueller, 24, who was born and raised in Germany, turned to her partner and blurted out a single question. Wait, are those people wearing SWAT stickers on their mask? And apparently they were. And it's pretty interesting that this person was from Germany as well, where these people like to act like they're from. When the young couple again encountered the man and woman who were indeed sporting bright red facial coverings that resembled the Nazi flag, Mueller had no trouble finding her voice. So let's hear what was said in this situation. Let's play this. And pardon me, you know, the articles like to have ads on them, but we're about ready just now.
You're sick. Yeah, you're sick. You have an illness. You can't be American and wear that mask. You cannot. We literally had a war about this.
I killed my grandfather.
You're wearing a swastika.
If you vote for Biden, you're going to be in Nazi Germany. That's what it's going to be like.
You're sick.
You're literally wearing a Nazi flag right now.
Yeah, because socialism is going to happen here in America.
You're sick.
Yeah,
We literally had a war about this. The Nazis lost.
For good reason.
Please don't wear those masks. You cannot call yourself an American.
I'm not a Nazi.
Then why are you wearing the mask?
Because I'm trying to tell you.
You're sick.
If
Turn off
you
the
vote
Fox
for
News
Biden,
and
this
wake
is
up.
what we're going to have.
Take
Socialism.
off the mask right now.
That mask is bull.
It's so incredibly offensive. You're not an American if you wear that mask. We literally had a war about this.
Okay, so you've seen it. Steph, I'll start with you. What do you have to say about this woman and her point that if we vote for Biden, that we will be living in Nazi America or Nazi Germany, as she said? That's her point, she claimed, for wearing the mask. What's your thoughts? Oh, we don't hear you. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm about to say, it makes no sense. Literally makes no sense. To say, Joe Biden is going to massacre an entire race of people. Like, is that the argument? That doesn't make sense. Like, we've seen that in America before,
right?
But it was under a different type of leadership, not the type that Biden has or will provide. I mean, that's That's a trash angle to go at, but hey, whatever.
Schoolboy.
Yeah, yeah, man. These this is the thing that really stood out to me during that exchange when they were confronted with this foolish behavior. You see how this Karen tensed up. She started making fists, and she was really like acting crazy. And I think it's because a lot of times that's indicative of when you're standing on something that you know you're wrong on, and then somebody calls you out on it, and your first thing is, well, maybe if I get really angry, they'll just stop asking me questions. I'm like, no, you look stupid. And this looks a lot like the Confederates. Folks walk around with the Confederate symbolism, and they defend it over and over and over again. And then you have to remind them, hey, that was actually a war to destroy America. You do realize that, right? And if they would have won, then this wouldn't be the same country. But they don't want to acknowledge that. And this lady's from Germany. In Germany, those people would be arrested for that foolishness. But here in America, even though we fought a war against the Nazis, people in America still want to defend people's right to support Nazis. I wonder if they would defend the same rights of those folks who decide that they want to declare their loyalty to Al Qaeda and ISIS. Do they get the same pass? Is that being edgy, making a statement? Like, this is your first time ever being edgy. You know what I mean? You finally got your head out of the Twinkie box and you decide to put on a damn Nazi mask. Like, you're an idiot.
I think that's a good point. I don't think they would get away with supporting current day terrorists. Vanessa?
Oh, well, I was going to get to the part about the Confederate flag portion of it, because my question is this. The people holding the camera, I'm wondering if those people feel the same way about that Nazi flag that they do the Confederate flags. You have a lot of people in this country who will, walk around with a Confederate flag, fly it, hang it up, all those types of things. But then as soon as they see a Nazi flag, they want to start crying and say, oh no, like this is really bad. You can't do this. Or, they choose how they have their sympathy. So for me, the difference between America and other nations is because you do have the freedom to say what you want. For me, as long as you're not hurting nobody, you're not putting your hands on nobody, you're not threatening to shoot nobody, I would have seen that in Walmart and I would have been dying laughing like, oh, she's bored. She has nothing to do. This is hilarious.
One of the things though, I want to jump in and just say this one thing. One of the reasons why, again, I like the Jewish story, Jewish people's story and their culture for this reason. You don't get the option to put up symbols of their oppression because you're immediately anti-Semitic. You know what I mean? And we have to start taking that same stance. Like, oh, okay, cool. You want to slick do the dog whistle thing? Cool. We're gonna go ahead and attack all your methods of making money and make you disgracing the country. That's what we're gonna do. And we have to do that so consistently that it's like, you know what? You don't even really want to play that game. It's better to just not say nothing and not be doing that kind of stuff and mind our business. Because these people don't know, like, we know how to mind our business because that's what we do. These folks don't know how to mind their business because that's just one step. Not first it's the Nazi stuff and the Confederate stuff, and then it's like, hey, why don't you put these chains on and we can all look around and laugh and giggle and stuff like it's a joke. Okay, well, just work in my field for a little bit. I want to make sure you get your exercise. You know what I'm saying? The next thing you know, we back in 1865 trying to figure out how we got here. It's because we let the jokes go. You know what I'm saying? Damn it. They got us again. They started with a free boat trip, and look at we are now. The hell?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Slim says, these is taking my head. These white people are something else. Redemption says, attention-seeking nonsense. Mills Lane, salute, says, Karen got the placebo meds for her brain. And Mills Lane also says, are these Nick Cannons supporting? Are these Nick Cannons supporting Karens? Maybe. I don't know. Vinny Slim also says, homie was rocking a Trump shirt too. Yeah, I seen that. My thought on it is salute to the cashiers who just kept doing their fucking job. That's my thought on that. They were like, I'm not losing my job for this shit. You know what I'm saying? And I think that in a lot of ways, when white people are doing shit like that, it is other white people's fight to check them, because eventually it's human nature to kind of stereotype. So, we don't like to be stereotyped, but the same way we were embarrassed at the black woman signing up to be the first woman to get a fucking vaccine shot, they should be embarrassed to, be associated with people like that. So it makes sense to me when I see white people approaching other white people about things like that versus, black people. Because black people are like, whatever, don't say the wrong shit to me, you know what I mean? And you walk in and walk out, wear whatever you want, But at the same time, it's one of those things where, and I'm sure you guys can relate as being, good-hearted people, but at the same time, you want to feel that you wouldn't overreact to certain scenarios, but then you don't know what you would do if you were in the scenario. So, I'm saluting the people for continuing to do their job, but I can't say that I definitely would have just did my job. You know what I mean? I don't know what I would have did if I was the person behind that cash register having to service somebody with a swastika on their face.
I would have did it because the Jews don't mind. The Jews ain't out here,
No, they do.
marching. No, they're not. They not.
But you know what you can do. You know what you can do in that instance, though. I can't serve you with that mask on your face. I need to call a manager. We're gonna make this checkout a whole half an hour ordeal. You're not fit to walk out here and not be inconvenienced.
No, what I'm saying is the Jews are not standing. They're not going outside saying, "Oh, white people shouldn't fly the Confederate flag." The Jews have been silent this whole Black Lives Matter situation. They're not standing up for black people. So why do we have to go out in the forefront and say, "Oh no, don't wear that Nazi flag on your face"?
No, they do, and that's the thing. They have the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, and that's what they literally go around the world finding people that they think are saying things that are anti-Semitic, and they will bring lawyers to the table and shame these people and take away their business. They have a whole the ADL is what the NAACP should be. They're an actual activist organization that goes out and ruins people's whole existence based on them showing.
Yeah, that's only for anti-Semitic. That has nothing to do with black people. Jews mind their business. We can mind our own business.
And that's
they do
why
not
I'm saying
stand up for black people. Why should we be standing up for them?
We need to have an anti-defamation league similar to it.
We do.
And also, I'm from the South, man. I've seen the Confederate flag flown around literally since I was a little boy. And of course, as I'm young, it was, of course, still symbolic, but I had no idea what it meant. You see what I'm saying? So by the time I figure out what it was, it's not. I'm already at a familiarity with seeing it so much that I'm not freaking out every time I see it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
go ahead, my fault.
But as far as the Nazi flag, I've literally never seen one in real life. Never.
Right. I'm gonna,
where do you buy that? You go on Amazon?
I'm sure they have places about it. But I want to say, as far as the Hasidic community not standing with black folks, I'm not sure that's entirely true. Just found an article from that I remember reading a while back. I don't know if it's widely spread, but there has been times where they have stood with the Black Lives Matter march. I mean, I don't know if that's saying much because everybody in the world was standing with the Black Lives Matter movement, but it does say in this article, 30 years after the Crown Heights riots, Brooklyn Hasidic community held a Black Lives Matter march to bridge the divide. So I don't know if I haven't met Jewish people who were, real hard up about, our issues, but I can say that apparently they have marched. You know what I mean?
They held up a sign.
They held up a sign, yeah. So with that being said, let's talk about some marches. Let's talk about some sign holding. Let's talk about Portland, Oregon. Sean King has posted a few videos, and I want to play a couple. And the first one comes to us I think this was before they sent a lot more troops to Oregon, but there were definitely troops there. And matter of fact, I think some people wanted to chime in on the last topic. So let me just read the rest of those comments first before we move on to the next topic. Redemption says Confederate neocons are full of hypocrisy. Most are not on the same page. World Financial Group says schoolboy. Salute. Mills Lane says V facts. Redemption Song says these whack jobs brought land adjacent to the highway in Stafford, VA, just to fly an oversized Confederate flag. Interesting. And Muhammad X Shakur said,
I actually live by that Confederate flag they're talking about. So I pass by that Confederate flag on a weekly basis.
and then Muhammad X Shakur says marching don't mean a thing though. So basically he agrees with you also, V, saying holding signs doesn't mean much.
And that's another thing, right? Black people are void of real power and influence here in the United States. If Jewish people really wanted something to happen, they really wanted to change, Jewish community can make a change. So it's like, so the protest for Jewish people to protest is an empty gesture, if we're being honest. It's like when Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden was kneeling. What are y'all kneeling for? You are the people in power. You
on the Wakanda demonstration,
right? Like, what are you kneeling for? You are in fact the lawmakers. Like, what are you protesting?
Yeah.
So if there are any Jewish people with the power that Steph speak of watching the show, feel free to give us a building.
Yeah. Oh, give us at least half of Crown Heights back, at least.
All right, so I'm gonna play this video from Sean King.
I have to get my charger. My laptop is dying. Give me 1 second.
Copy. I'll play this video before we play another video. And yeah. So this is a video that comes to us from Sean King, the journalist, where these people are using leaf blowers to fan the tear gas back at the people throwing the tear gas at the protesters. The interesting thing that I see about this is you don't really see a lot of color in this crowd. Just want to point that out because you already know they'll love to give us the credit for a lot of things that's happening, as well as sometimes we take the credit even when we're not the ones doing some of the hard shit. But yeah, so there you have that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And we're going to talk more about Portland, Oregon. And we're going to play another video from Sean King. We just pull that up. Schoolboy, did you send that video from Sean King, the other one that we're going to play?
Probably.
Yeah.
Sounds like some stuff I would do.
So if you don't know, Portland, Oregon is still going hard with the marches and the protests. And this post comes to us from Sean King as well. It reads, wow, everything Trump thought was going to happen when he sent hundreds of federal goons to Portland to beat up men, women, and children who were protesting there has backfired. We're going to watch a video of how it backfired. But I'm going to read most of the rest of the article first. It says, after federal agents mauled Navy veteran Chris David, veterans have now shown up to form a protective wall around the mothers who have formed a protective wall around protesters. Over 4,000 people are now in Portland supporting the Black Lives Matter movement for real systematic change. So I'm going to play this video that's showing the wall that they put up around the protesters. So the video doesn't have any sound. Oh, actually it doesn't. So there you have it. Organized protests. They're going really hard in Portland, Oregon. As you know, Trump is sending people out there to try to quell the protests. Steph, have you followed these protests in Oregon at all?
I'm not sure why it's still going on. I haven't been following it to that extent, but I know that they were still going hard in the paint. Like they had a video, like what was that we covered like a week ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I will say this: Trump might be right. It might be Antifa, with their own agenda, hiding behind Black Lives Matter, because I didn't see a black soul in that entire crowd, not a one. Right?
I didn't see one either.
Like that was a heavy mayo protest. Even the signs were like you could have had some blacker signs. Like the smallest thing on the sign was BLM. You know what I'm saying?
I seen they had shields too with some type of logo on it. I didn't really get.
Yeah, man. Niggas can't protest for no whole 3 weeks, a month. We got to work.
Schoolboy.
Yeah, this is what I'll be telling my people on online who's like, oh, black on black crime. I'm like, I keep reminding people I really want them to take a look at white on white crime, and this looks like a great exhibition of that. Because, like I said, Portland, Oregon is not a bastion of blackness, but there are people there who have an extreme aversion to police overreach, like we all should. Because even the Jews say, well, you guys were silent when they came for us. Well, they're coming for you next when we're gone. And I think we just have to remind people of that. Like I talk about a bunch of mess. Like I talk about white people generally speaking. But the fact of the matter is, like, I appreciate the fact these folks are out there and that they're doing this work because it's their time to do this work and put themselves on the front line because they are coming for them next. They're listening to your phone calls. They're snatching your people out the streets, overcharging them with crimes, etc. So they've got to do something about it. And they're doing
window.
Yeah, they got to do something about it, and I'm glad they're doing something about it.
I don't think that this is enough. I don't think it's enough for white people to just go out there with a whole march and hold up signs. These are some of the people who are making laws in this country. These are some of the people who own the wealth in this country. These are the people in this country who could actually make real change for black people's lives in this country. And they are not going to give up what they have to make black people even, like, to give them the just due. They're just not, and no one would. I'm not saying it makes sense not to. If I got a 400-year head start and I got all of these things because of it, I won't give that up either. But what I will do, I'll go outside, I'll hold up some signs, I'll shout Black Lives Matter, and then I'll go back in the house.
So what you're saying is that these people that are protesting are not willing to do what it takes to even the playing field.
They're not going to give up their wealth. They're not going to go about actually getting laws passed for these police officers to not, for them to actually be penalized. So like they're not taking the real steps that they would for themselves, if that makes any sense.
So you think they have a hidden agenda, or is this just a way of getting, I don't know, like guilt off of their back? Off of their chest?
Hidden agendas, and this is coddling their guilt. This is their way of them coping with whatever guilt that they have. A lot of them feel like if they go out there and they hold up signs and they do this, that like, hey, yeah, I fought for this black person, but then no, black people still have a disadvantage. Black people still have to go about finding jobs and still have to find out how to not be redlined and find out how to get good credit and all these things to persevere in society. So they think that the war is done just because they've gone out and marched, and it's not finished.
All right, so I'm gonna catch up with these comments. I think Steph has something to say. Steph?
Oh, my bad. I was saying, this is a relatively short video. I watched it at least 3 or 4 times, and I swear I did not see a single black person. Like, that don't seem suspicious. And you ain't text no niggas. Yo, we having a Black Lives Matter rally. Y'all coming down? Like, nope.
You know what, Steph? But I've been to a few protests before it was popular, like years ago, and we were never the majority at any of these protests.
No,
I will tell you that. Even in New York City, where there's a lot of black and Latino people, obviously,
bro.
Because you don't get to proclaim your First Amendment right without being riotous. So as soon as you get out there, you're getting a felony when they get hands on you. I'm cool on that. Like I want to see y'all doing it, and I want to see y'all getting locked up. But I'm not fit to take no charges for this foolishness. I already been talking about this stuff and living this life.
I'm not talking about a swarm of black people. Even down here in Jacksonville, when I was down there protesting, I seen a lot of white people. It was a lot of black people, but I seen plenty of white people out there. I'm not saying I don't believe white people out there holding down the fort, but no black people, not one, not even a token. You know the black guy that watch anime, he wasn't even there.
Let me catch up with some of these comments, but duly noted. Let me see. Redemption says Pelosi and the Kente cloth was insane and tone deaf as hell. I definitely thought that was a little weird, but what I did find interesting in was in that picture where they were in the building kneeling, there was like a statue in the background of like a black person. I don't know if it was like an Egyptian black person or something like that, but it was a statue in that building. That was pretty interesting. So some would say they were repenting for their sins. You know what I mean? World Financial Group says, I think they kneeled to show that they finally heard us. Muhammad X Shakur was laughing at that. Mills Lane Redemption says, Redemption, Pelosi was letting us know that she was down with the swirl. And Muhammad X Shakur says, WFG, speaking to World Financial Group, sounds like you crave white validation. Okay, they're getting it popping in the comments, but I'm gonna keep reading this. World Financial Group says, but now it's time we keep them in the spotlight and hold them accountable by getting involved in our communities. Help is not coming. We must begin to help ourselves. I agree with that. Muhammad X Shakur says BLM isn't a true black organization. So of course there was some white people out there.
True.
But Muhammad, Steph wasn't saying some, he was saying all. He was saying Muhammad X Shakur said, hell, they're there to blow off some steam. Good point. World Financial Group says, Muhammad, no, just being objective. Before they were silent on BLM. And then Muhammad responds to that. So what if they are silent on Black Lives? Exactly smiles. They don't care. Muhammad says. World Financial Group says, I'm just saying, since they want to be corny, it's our job in the black community to keep them kneeling. Through examples like Schoolboy been saying throughout this stream. Okay. And Antoinette says she agrees with V. And World Financial Group says, stop looking to others. We need to learn the game, play the game. And Internet says, they will be the same white people that will still call the cops on black people for no reason.
Yes.
She goes on to say, I don't trust them. And World Financial Group says, we can't create wealth starting with we can create wealth, starting with each other. One of us today for the next generation. Even if we may not see it, the first step starts now. I think everybody is making some real valid points. My take on the Portland, Oregon situation is, I agree. It seems a little fishy, a little awkward. But then again, like I said, I've been to protests on police brutality before it was like popular, and I even remember seeing a white guy spazzing at the protest talking about we're the black people. So, but then again, like Schoolboy said, we can catch a felony fairly easy. We can get arrested in this country fairly easy. So I'm going to agree with the general census and say that we do need to, while they're on that lane on what they do, talking to their family members about what they need to do different, we need to focus in-house and we need to build ourselves up as well. So Stephon, you had something to say?
I had wanted to get to a comment that where they were saying they were trying to let off some steam.
Right. Muhammad said that. Salute to Muhammad, by the way.
Yeah, we underestimate that portion of white America that just likes to stick it to the man.
Yeah.
They ain't trying to accomplish nothing. They just trying to get it. They just trying to give other people
The
hell.
Unabomber.
The Unabomber was one of those people.
Yeah, he was just sending out like he wasn't even doing it well. He was just sending out random bombs that he made at his little cabin. He was like, I don't like that senator. I'm gonna send him a bomb. and then sometimes this phone will open up the bomb and it just fizzle. You're like, damn, I gotta try this shit again. Then you go back to the lab and build something else and blow somebody's fingers off and be like, well, damn. And I mean, he did it for like 30 years, chilling.
Y'all forgot about the 99%?
Nah, what's the 99%?
The 99% they had. I remember when I was in college, I was living in Providence. They had that movement going on. White people were just sticking it to the men all across the country, talking about the 99%. I still have no fucking idea about what that thing was about.
Well, the 99% is saying that the 1% that runs the world, they're opposed to those people running the world as the 1%.
AKA blowing off steam to me.
So hey, listen, the thing about chaos, I actually like the ideal and strategy of burn it down and build it back up. I actually think that's a good idea. In nature it works. I think in society it works as well.
So I did want to also mention to some of the comments. I remember walking during all of this. I remember being downtown Brooklyn, and I seen some white people that looked like they were either on their way to a protest or just finished the protest, and they were, they had the signs with them, and I gave them what black people consider the universal head nod. Give somebody a head nod, just I see you. They kept it moving. They kept it fucking moving. I got no head nod in response. I got no hello, how you doing? None of that. So, I can agree with what we're saying that, yes, all of this shit is not necessary to be trusted. And then I even seen driving around upstate New York, I seen white people on the corners, because it wasn't no real heavy protest upstate, but I seen white people on the corners with, Black Lives Matter signs, and I'll honk my horn, give them a little support. That's what you do when you see people holding signs in traffic, you honk your horn. And they looked at me like, fuck out of here.
Yo, I'm glad you said that, because I was driving around in Flatbush, actually on Fort Hamilton Parkway and Kate, and there was a bunch of white people doing this Black Lives Matter, holding up the sign saying, honk, if you support Black Lives Matter. I said to myself, I'm going to honk if I see one black person. And I didn't see not one black person. So I drove past and I didn't honk.
See, what you saw were some gentrifiers that definitely were trying to quell their guilt. That's what it sounds like.
Not one. And I'm like, y'all in Flatbush. Y'all couldn't find anybody. But that's
I mean, but you gotta realize, like, they're working off their guilt and stuff like that. And I'm really not I'd rather they not did that, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, sit your ass at home and write an email to your senator.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Stop disrupting traffic before I call the police on your ass. What the hell wrong with you?
All right, Bob X says, which is it? We going to do what we got to do, or we going to beg whites?
Both.
And World Financial Group says, if you want to create change in your generation, start by creating generational wealth. We don't even show up, but we complain. I know it's frustrating, brother. I know it's frustrating. Muhammad says, agreed, logic. Internet says, black people are waking up. They know BLM isn't for us. That's why we ain't there anymore. And Redemption says, never heard of that 99%. And Mills Lane said 99% fell to the Tea Party. Okay. And Muhammad Shakur says, AKA, it's not about race, it's about class. And he laughs at that. And World Financial Group says, Muhammad, no, just as they've been saying throughout the stream, hold them accountable, create generational wealth, etc. Slim says, not all skin folk are your kinfolk. That's a fact. Muhammad Shakur says, hold them accountable for what? We've been doing that for years, and our people kept getting assassinated. And he also goes on to say, so again, we either going to do what we got to do. And he puts a question mark on the big whites.
Both.
Vanessa says both. And And then World Financial Group says we need to stop reacting in anger and strategize. We can't begin to do that until we organize and start with supporting ourselves and create things like the ADL.
Hold on, look, real quick on that note. People always like to talk about I do too. Talk about the ADL and all this.
What's the ADL?
The Anti-Defamation League, which is the Jewish lawyers that will come down on you if you start talking crazy about them. However, what they also failed to talk about is the Jewish gangs that were running these streets in New York and around the country that will whip your ass and take from you what they wanted because they were gangs just like any other gangs in this country. So let's stop acting like, oh, we just need to organize and we just need to buy houses. And no, we need to activate that criminal class that'll go over the top of your head if we catch you out here slipping. I mean, it just is what it is.
So the problem with our criminal class is our criminal class has no organization, and our so-called gangsters are really doing a lot of things out of desperation and not necessarily, to strengthen us as a people. But we did do a show not too long ago where we spoke about the NFAC, the Not Fucking Around Coalition, and we had mixed emotions up here. It led to a whole nother kind of topic. It went a little left. And that was episode 4. It was pretty good. J Doug was on that episode. So go back and watch episode 4 if you haven't seen it. And I believe it was episode 4. And we had a friend of mine who was at the march in Georgia with the NFAC. He's not part of it, but he was giving us his firsthand take on what he saw. And I'm not going to reiterate everybody's position on the NFAC, but we kind of spoke on if we need a militia, if we need armed protesters and or just soldiers to further our cause. And I think Schoolboy just made a case for that we definitely do need gangsters. And I'm not going to disagree with that, but my point with that was that I will be leery of any organization that asks you to sign up to join a group that's going to say, let's go out there and march with these guns in our hands, and especially if you're black, because more times if they want you to put your name on a registry, if they want you to show up to these marches well armed while screaming, "We came to kill the Klan," and things like that they were screaming at that first march, it kind of reeks of a setup. So I want to keep an eye on what the NFAC is doing. And upon keeping an eye on what they've been doing, they kind of ended up back in the news in a not so favorable light. So we're going to segue into what I'm going to say, quote unquote, our black militia is doing, because I don't know any of these dudes, and I'm not part of this coalition, and I don't pretend that they necessarily speak for me. They spoke about us wanting Texas. I never had a vote in that. I would have voted for California, but I'm gonna play this video that the militia is back in the news. They were in Louisville, calling for justice for Breonna Taylor, which we cannot say is anything wrong with that. However, it didn't go according to plan, and we're going to play this video.
They are here calling for justice, traveling from Georgia all the way to Louisville. A militia group called NFAC, not related to Black Lives Matter, adding their names to the growing voices demanding justice for Breonna Taylor. Good evening and thanks for joining us at 6:30. I'm Paulina Bootska. A live look right now at their formation, which has been out in the heat all day, marching from Baxter Park to Jefferson Square Park. You'll recall on 4th of July in Stone Mountain, Georgia, over 1,000 people led by Grand Master Jay marched peacefully with police escorts calling for the removal of the largest Confederate monument in Atlanta. Now tonight, they've made their way right here to Louisville, to Jefferson Square Park, where they've been addressing the crowd. Jesse Cohen spoke to Grand Master Jay, and she joins us live. Jesse, what is his message?
Well, Paulina, the NFAC left just about an hour ago, making their way from Baxter Square down here to Jefferson Square Park, and then back in that direction toward 12th and Jefferson. But before they left for the first time, we watched people scatter and duck behind cars running from a gunshot. We watched 2 people get into ambulances. Grandmaster Jay says that during a security check, one of the guns went off. Now, Grandmaster Jay tells us the 2 people hurt are expected to be okay, and with help from their medics and EMS, they work together to make that happen. After leaving the park, we walked with the big crown down Jefferson to Jefferson Square Park, where some of the members spoke to the crowd from the steps of Metro Hall. They say this march was part 2. Part 1 was speaking to the Attorney General, Daniel Cameron, about getting answers in the Breonna Taylor case.
And let them know in so uncertain terms, it's not just the people of Louisville that you owe an explanation to. You owe an explanation to Black people, period. Because this is not an isolated incident.
Now, there was also chatter of other groups coming to protest against NFAC. The only group we encountered were the 3%ers, who say they were there to keep the peace between other groups and provide health and safety to people on both sides. Now, tonight on the Night Team, you'll hear from one of them, and you'll hear more from Grandmaster Jay about their message to the people of Louisville. Live in downtown Louisville, for the Night Team, I'm Jesse Cohen.
Yeah, so there's videos. One is starting to try to play now. It's out there of Grandmaster Jay of the NFAC calling for transparency from the system. However, let's get straight to the bullshit, man. This dude had people out there marching with arms, and they shot themselves. I don't know if you peeped that. I don't know if anybody peeped that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who's the other side, and how did somebody get shot? Like, how did that happen?
They shot themselves.
All right. So I got to be on code again. Listen, the military oftentimes does exercises where they shoot themselves and crash in cars and kill their soldiers and stuff. These people did a demonstration, and they had a lot of guns out there, and it just so happens that one of them went off. I mean, it happens. It's gonna happen if we see these people out in force by the hundreds or thousands. People are going to get shot, and they're gonna shoot themselves by accident. It's gonna happen, but that doesn't mean that they're less effective. I think that their demonstrations are very effective because of the fact that nobody knows who these people are. Nobody knows when they're gonna show up. Nobody really knows what the hell they're gonna do or really why they're there. And really, that's the kind of environment that Black people have been living in with the police in their neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? You don't know when these folks gonna show up and start terrorizing you. And these folks ain't terrorizing nobody. They're just saying, hey, we'd love to see that these guys in court. We'd love to see that.
Let's say this too. I think they'll experience the same problem that the Black Panther Party experienced. Because you're not clearing people to get in. You know what I'm saying? You letting anybody with a gun just join your group. And of course, like the FBI infiltrated the Black Panther Party. Now this, I wouldn't say the Not Fucking Around coalition is as impactful as the Black Panther Party, but they have the potential to be. So immediately you're going to be infiltrated because of course you can always find a Black person to do it. You know what I'm saying?
I think that, how much? By how much?
For their regular salary. They'll do it for their regular salary. They're not going to get no extra.
No bonuses.
So about between 30 and 40,000 a year.
Yes, they will sell out the entire community for about $30,000 to $40,000 a year. Yep.
I agree.
Do you think it's easier to spot an agent now versus back in the day?
That's a good question. Steph, let you answer that.
No. Like everybody know what niggas want to hear. You just got to say what niggas want to hear. If I say what y'all want to hear, like, yeah, dog, fuck Trump, you know what I'm saying? You crocodile. Come on, man. You know what to say.
Right.
Niggas is simple.
Like, oh yeah, I feel you, bro.
I'm gonna say this. Now, I'm not saying I'm not prone to be tricked, but the fact of the matter is we can actually, if we all would start getting on code and staying on code, we would see the people who just weren't on code. So, if you see the Black militia out in force and folks start clowning, like, wait, we don't be clowning y'all full of shit. You know what I'm saying?
But Schoolboy, I get that, right? And that's the kind of the debate we had that day when I first brung them up. Like, you were pro us having a militia. I forget everybody else take, but they, some people weren't as adamant about it, and we kind of went in circles. And my only point was I wanted to bring up the fact that joining a militia could potentially lead you into some harm via some, within that militia. Not necessarily saying don't risk your life.
Yeah.
Sure, risk your life for your beliefs, but I agree with Steph in the sense that these things is no way that you can create an organization like this and it not be infiltrated in 2020.
So I'll say this because we've spoken, Logic, about my family history and stuff like that, and I've been in a militia before officially and an officer, position in militias and stuff like that. So I've done those things, and that was one of the gripes that I had when I was working with them. I was like, "Yo, don't put my name on the damn paperwork."
Right.
What the hell's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, stop calling my phone talking about what we fit to do. Like, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, so there has to be like little stuff like that. That's what made me back up because I'm like, okay, cool. Because the cameras come out, y'all get real loud and got to be all extra.
Right.
I'm not trying to do that. I'm cool with going to train. I'm cool with practice. I'm cool with some of the other stuff we're doing, but I'm not cool on being the face of the damn militia movement because that's not what it's for. You know what I mean?
Right. And exactly. And, I think J Doug was in on that conversation we had. And that was his point that, Black people, we do a lot of talking, but we don't have no real action behind it. So, my advice and what I had to say that day was like, if you're going to do, if you're going to be about it, but the same rules that actually make sense about the street still apply, which is do your dirt all by your lonely. Like, joining a group is definitely push you up and push you on harm way. I mean, even in the streets, you join a gang, now you got beef with everybody, and whoever in the gang got beef, now you got beef, or you roll with somebody who don't know how to move. Y'all both getting jumped when y'all walk through a certain neighborhood or whatever the case may be. Steph?
Oh, yo, this your man's?
Yeah.
Oh, he got to get it too.
I think they should come out with the Ku Klux Klan black version of the robes.
Yeah,
they got it. No, they have to. I think they should have all black robes covering their face with the holes cut out, and then put in that work.
Yeah,
do you understand? Do you understand what putting in that work means for the KKK? Like, you want niggas to snatch white people out of their homes and start murking them and hanging them?
I mean,
no, black people do not do this. Please don't listen to this radical.
You gotta create justice. They gotta start going around, whistling at people. It just has to be even, and we're not making it even. White people.
You know what? And I feel you, but we all know that this is still America, and that's not the way that shit gonna run. I will say this though, the reason I'm gonna say this, and I'll leave it at that. The reason I keep repeating this because a lot of people don't realize this. People act like Jewish people got powerful just off of GP. No, Jewish people got powerful because to this day, if they find a Nazi, they will either go to them and deliver justice, or go to them, capture them, and bring them back to Israel to face justice. You're 99 years old. You're not too old. Sit in this wheelchair. Come with me.
Word, they be finding like 85-year-old Nazis.
Yeah, they cool with it.
They do.
They cool with it. And here's the other thing. I'll stop. Here's the other thing. Looking at the Palestinians. Let's say your cousin Ahmed. He's been saying some random stuff that he ain't supposed to say. And now Ahmed is driving his kids to school. Well, hey, Israel has planes. We're gonna drop a bomb on that car.
Ahmed's out of here.
Ahmed's out of here. Your niece and nephew, the cousins and them, they gotta go to collateral damage. Hey, listen, don't start no shit. Won't be no shit. We out. And that's what they do.
But that's the fucked up shit. The fact that they can find Nazis that's in their 85, like they, old in ages, on their freaking deathbeds and crucify them. And the fact that black people, this lady who accused Emmett Till was able to almost go onto her deathbed and tell everybody that she lied and to just go back inside her house like nothing happened. Like, that's an issue. That's a huge issue.
Steph, had you say?
No, I ain't had nothing to say. I did, but Schoolboy he went right into it. So
okay,
yeah.
The
Well,
Israeli again. The Israelis don't play that shit. You're not gonna say nothing. You're not gonna do nothing that they don't like because they have something for that. And I'm not saying that there needs to be an eye for an eye,
Well, that's
but
what we need. We need that something for that.
I'm not saying there needs to be an eye for an eye. I'm just saying that according to the Jewish lore and their culture, the eyelash of a Jew is not worth the life of 10 Palestinians or other, opposers. That's how they feel. That's how they act. That's what they do. And so when other countries need help and they say, hey, we've got a police force of 100,000 people in a city of 4 million people, we're understaffed, we might be overrun. What do you people do for that? They say, come here, we'll train you and show you what we do. And then we get what we have now. So I'm just saying, there's certain things that can be done that work.
So we'll go further into the Israeli police force and army force on our next episode. Tomorrow we won't have an episode because I have some traveling to do. But today's episode is not over yet. But I do want to segue before we go too far into talking about the Israeli police force and all that. When we speak about agents and things of that nature, I also want to throw out there that it's been alleged by Tariq Nasheed recently on, I think it was Instagram, that the man, Grandmaster J, they put a picture of him with this like Wakanda-ish type getup he was wearing on this interview he did. He's what Jay Doug would call a costume, and he put this picture up and he said basically that he believes that he's an agent. Tariq Nasheed publicly said he believes that this man from the NFAC is an agent. So I kind of did a little digging, not much. I didn't go far, but I seen that there was some white people who also believe that this guy has stolen valor, that he's not the vet that he says he is, and they also saying that he's not sticking to his own code. And they bring up the fact that he ran for president apparently in 2016 as part of it, where he spoke in his job interview voice, which I'm kind of speaking in right now a little bit, but not fully, but I think we all have a job interview voice. But I want to play a little bit of the video of Grandmaster Jay, I guess, running for president in what looks like his living room. He did a conference. I don't know. Let's go ahead and play this and see what we can gather from it.
I am Jason Dinsmore, the editor-in-chief of...
That's from the hip-hop world. And you may know me from all of the activism that I've been doing for the last almost 7 months now in the Black Lives Matter movement and subsequent movements, the War on Racism Coalition, and so forth, under that banner as simply Jay Johnson. And of course, today, the appropriate term would be John Fitzgerald for the capacity of what we're doing today. And so I've worn many hats. So whether you know me as Jay, whether you know me as John Fitzgerald, whether you know me as formerly Grandmaster Jay or Jay Blaze, or if you know me as Sergeant Johnson, or you've encountered me as Minister Jay, I have walked many paths. So depending on which one of those paths you walk, we may have crossed at some time. Today we're going to cross a crossroads where they all come together. People always say your background is who you are. God says you're not what you've done. You are what I've created you. And I'll say this to anybody, if anyone ever brings up your background, says, my background is what made me what I am today. That's what brought this into fruition. And that's who I am, and I'm glad to be here with V Magazine. And of course, Jason's a very good friend of mine, and I will continue to keep him close because he's been with me through the valleys and through the peaks. And once again, we're starting to climb another mountain. Good to be here, Jason.
Thank you so much again for giving your time and for selecting me to be one of the people on the ground floor that, can spread the message and alert people to what you have going on, which is huge. Again, I know I'm leading up and I'm alluding to it because I do think it's important for people to really understand who you are before we make this major announcement where we're at.
Reaching all levels, all corners of the globe, including myself, that instructed us that we needed to pay attention because what we thought was the status quo was now becoming a problem. There has always been an underlying current in this country, that we needed to deal with racial inequality, that we needed to deal with some of the symptoms that are spawned by racial equality. And those things are police brutality. Those things are unequal education. Those things are disparity in employment. Those things are an ill distribution of wealth, and so many others that I could go on with. And many of us in this country for the last 50 years have tried our best to assimilate and be recompensated in a comfortable way that we can provide for our own. And at some point, it began to become very obvious that something was definitely wrong. I myself, being all those X things that I talked about in the beginning, became aware that something was wrong that was beginning to affect a broader demographic, a demographic that eventually reached me. The battle cry, Black Lives Matter, when it first came to my attention, I thought was appropriate. I thought that finally we were beginning to address the issue collectively. And so I too availed myself to the process, becoming involved in a series of protests, becoming involved in a series of town hall meetings, becoming in.
All right, this video is bad long, so I'm not going to play it. But as you can tell from the T-shirt he had in the background, and I'm just going to say alleged for now because I didn't do a whole lot of homework on it, but apparently the man was running for president in 2016. The guy has a hell of a job interview voice. When he's not talking like that, he's talking like Samuel L. Jackson, cursing up a storm, you know. But I think that's all of us, you know what I mean? We all got the job interview voice, and we all have the moments where we curse up a storm. However, he also claims to be a vet, and like he say, he's a man of many hats. I'm not going to go out there and publicly call him an agent. I'm just going to say joining an organization like his could lead you down a bad path, you know, via agents and things like that. Steph, what's your thoughts, man? Did you watch any of this? What's your thoughts on the man?
Yeah,
running for president and having a whole different demeanor, you know.
I mean, running for president, he's one of those many people who ran for president. We understand on that ballot, it's not 2 people. It's like 1 million people running for president. You know what I'm saying? It's only the Republican and Democratic candidate that people actually recognize, but it's a whole bunch of people running for president every year. So let's just get that out there. It's not like a big deal. But and then also you see the video of him. It's not like he didn't address his name that he goes by now, which is Grandmaster Jay. So it's not like it was like he just made a whole 180. It's like he said, niggas wear many hats. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know, man. How I talk on the show, I don't talk. It's ain't how I talk around my kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just you change you know, with your environment. You know what I'm saying? You be cautious of it, and that's what it seemed like. If you run for president, you can't go, you know, with the whole the whole tough guy bravado that he is displaying with the militia. It doesn't make sense. But
all right,
that's all.
Schoolwork.
Yeah, so I think a lesson there, like I talk about my family history. My grandmother was a revolutionary in the 70s, and I say that because she was a part of the group that took, I think, City College's board of trustees hostage at one point, or did some kind of negotiation with them. And she was like, you know, what we would do is we would go in there and they'd be ready to negotiate, and we sit there in our nice voices and we try to get to the table and negotiate with them. And when they started with that bullshit, we flipped the script. It's just be the biggest Negroes we could be. And we get all of nature and call them all kind of names and cuss them out. And then when they were ready to start talking sense again, we started talking sense again. You know, so yeah, and the thing about it is I've watched some of his videos. I don't fully condone or condemn him. But I will say that he does make a point in talking about military intelligence. This is all public information that you can find on the internet. And when they talk about military intelligence, one of the things that you do is you have groups of anonymous people, not terrorizing, but that can threaten violence. That, hey, you know, Now we gonna drop some leaflets and we gonna make some shows and we gonna put some radio shows on. We gonna say, hey, we don't want y'all out here fighting and we don't want y'all supporting the enemy. But if you do, these people with guns will come and shoot you. Okay, and it just is what it is. And that's what he's doing. He's saying, hey, we'd love to be out here, peacefully protesting, but if that don't work, we'll pick up these guns and act like we got some sense, because it just is intelligence when your people are being cattled into genocide that you go ahead and start to do some opposite reaction to that. So I think that if we don't want to see hundreds of black people wearing black and masked up running around with guns, which I'm really not interested in seeing that wholesale throughout the country all the time, everywhere. I'm just not. I don't want to see nobody out here with guns looking crazy. But if we don't want to see that, we could just address the police overreach and the laws that encourage that type of activity.
Right, Vanessa.
No, I completely agree with that. For me, just seeing him in that light, it doesn't make it any different from any other leader that we've had throughout history. I mean, when you look at the tapes of Martin Luther King, you see Martin Luther King in his preacher voice, you've seen him in his interview voice, and you've seen him in his marching voice. I think that every leader is going to have those different sides to themselves, and it's important to exercise those parts when needed.
Yo, salute to y'all for being objective about it and not just going in on him in his oversized suit.
Hey, listen, a lot of niggas don't know the value of a quality tailor. You know what I'm saying? And clearly this brother is one of those people. And if he ain't had nobody to show him what a tailored suit is, you know what I'm saying? Opposed to one of them off the rack suits. That was probably one of them Iceman Mr. Kick them shirt, one of them,
I was gonna say that's a Steve Harvey suit right there.
one of them $79 suits you get two for $150. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Y'all not gonna roast my suits, bro. That's not what's gonna happen.
Even if you get that suit, though, you got to get it tailored. You still got to get it tailored.
That's it. Just get it tailored, man.
It really don't matter what the suit is. If you get it tailored, it looks expensive.
That's all I'm saying. That's the point I'm making right there.
And homeboy's shirt was too big too, and his tie was.
Hey, he he's skinny as a mug. He ain't got no chest. He walking around here with the size 18, the size 18 button up.
Y'all gonna leave him alone. He's fighting for his life.
Well, that man start running down the street, and you remember the little toys that you do like this and to make that whistle sound? That man run down the street and
Hey, listen, no, with the
NBA draft 2006.
Hey,
no,
them cufflinks was so loose on this nigga, man. He had to double up on the cufflink.
All right, so we get some of these comments. Virginia Sim says, I don't trust the leader of the NFAC. He refuses to discuss his past prior to the formation of the crew. Muhammad Extracore says, it was never easy to spot an agent because too many of us were emotional and didn't create some kind of code, as Schoolboy said. Stay on code, then we would peep them. But, I want to echo what Steph said, and I think that's what Steph was probably about to say. It's easy to trick us if you talk that gangster tough guy, black giddy black shit. And
hold on, bro. Have we all been out here in these streets, man? You know that one cat that ain't nobody seen before. Hey, man, you got some dope? Like, no, nigga, I don't. Like, no, I don't even know what you're talking about.
But the agents don't come off that strong. Like, first they come in and they stand around. They watch. They be like, oh, what y'all do? What y'all getting into today? Like, it don't start off like, oh, we're dope. They ask that question like 5 days later.
I'm gonna say it like this. You got to do is test them. Like when we was in the nation, hey man, I know you're here and we talked about you being an officer and stuff like that, but we need you to take the trash out today. Do you have a problem with that?
Hey, listen.
Okay, that's the problem.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm as black as they come, right? But this is what confused.
You kind of light skinned, but go ahead.
Listen. I mean, pro-black as they come, right?
Okay,
I'm for my people.
Yeah.
Now, but when y'all say little cute shit that don't make sense, it sound good to y'all. Like, oh, stay on code. What the fuck does that mean?
Well,
Like,
see,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
when you're
see,
off code, when you're off code, you don't know what that means.
You act like
So
black people have a community to
and
be on code for.
Listen, and
that's
I
a
knew
great
you were
point to
gonna
that,
try.
sir.
I knew you were gonna try to flip it around, and be like, "Oh yeah, you're not on code, so that you wouldn't know what that means."
You're not.
But
You're
no one
not.
knows what the fuck that means. No one really knows. Like, you really don't
You
have a
got
real
Tariq.
definition.
You got Tariq Nasheed talking about a code when he got to answer to his white grandmother every 5 minutes. So
What?
yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. So Neely Fuller. A lot of times we talk about the code, right? Neely Fuller came out with the counter racism code that's compensatory, meaning that you basically give what you get, right? And you take every situation as its situation. You don't make these blanket statements like all white people are racist, because it's not true. You can't stand on that lie. And you
Right.
also can't stand on the lie that all black people have your best interests in mind. You can't stand on that. It's not a fact. But what you can
That's been proven wrong.
right. So, but what you can do is you can look at situations and say, okay, this individual, we have to look at where they're from, what they're talking about, et cetera, and judge them based on the merits of what they've done. We can't give them the benefit of the doubt, and it removes the benefit of the doubt, and then you can hold people to certain standards. Because if you're going to come in here, you know, before we start our day, we're going to sing the Black National Anthem. Now, do you have a problem with that? You know what I'm saying? Like little stuff like that. It's really not hard. We all like kind of know what our codes are. Like, you're not gonna let certain people in your group, man.
I don't know, man. I think you made a few examples, and
It seemed like a top behavior. That doesn't sound like a code.
But hold
That's
on,
what a code is. A code is a top behavior.
But I
Okay,
don't,
you just join a group.
But hold on, I don't want to go in circles, but I just want to just reiterate that, like Steph said earlier, we can easily be fooled because a lot of that stuff could simply be, you know, people could pretend that they with it. They can pretend that they believe what you believe, you know what I mean? And they can just, you know, ride along and just report all of the bullshit. And speaking of like the COINTELPRO things that happened with the Panthers and all of that, when you watch some of the testimony, because there is testimony out there on like one of the agents that was forced to infiltrate the Black Panthers in Santa Cruz and Oakland, California, and in the Bay Area, they witnessed murders and all types of shit and was even part of the murders and stuff. And still, you know, they didn't take them down till they was ready to take them down. And, you know, and they did it in, you know, fair, in an unfair way. They even created some of the murders, I believe the guy was saying, and then took the people down who were behind the organization doing the right things. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know if they really gonna have any morals to how they spy. I think they're gonna create situations and then later take down the people who weren't responsible for those situations. You know what I
So
mean?
I will say this for the young people who are watching this and they're kind of on the fence. Like, I want to be active, but I'm not sure how. And now y'all saying I might get caught up in some foolishness.
Mhm.
I'm gonna just tell y'all a little secret. I mean, listen. In 2020, I'm a law-abiding, and I've always been a law-abiding citizen. I work in corporate. I work around a lot of great people. Some of them happen to be white and non-black. Long story short, I also spent time in militias and working with organizations like the Nation of Islam, etc. I've also, you know, done a bar mitzvah and all this stuff. So I've been inside the Jewish synagogues with the elders and stuff like that and had conversations with them. So I moved around a lot of different ways. That being said, if you are young and you're not sure if you should involve yourself with certain people, you don't have to involve yourself with them and still support what they're doing. So they say, "Oh, we're gonna meet out here." You don't have to sign your name. Just be where you're supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to do, and mind your business. And if you find that those are the people that you should be rocking with, maybe that's a good place for you to be. But don't be going out here looking for, you know, your brothers and then brothers and sisters, and like, because you're not gonna find them. I mean, it just is what it is. A lot of times you're gonna be out there by yourself, and you're gonna have to move accordingly. You know.
All right, so maybe I'll read some of these other comments. Mama actually calls said Slim. He's not supposed to discuss his past. The less the media knows about him, the better. However, the media knows a whole lot about this man, Muhammad. This guy's on in front of the Instagram, YouTube, news cameras, doing all types. He's talking. He's not a quiet man. So he's taking all types. We probably can get an interview with this dude. Who knows? You know what I mean? So I think we should know his past as much as he's talking. But like some of that video we saw, he was talking about his past to I guess a black outlet that was on YouTube. I don't know. Redemption says agreed, Jah. Salute. World Financial Group says as Slim, he not here for PR, he here for results. I respectfully disagree. That man is here popping his fucking shiny collars. That dude, because that's another thing. Like I said, the picture they put out on Homeboy when they called him an agent, he had like rhinestones on his shoulder, and then like some type of Wakanda design on his chest. Nah, boy, that guy is here for the clout too. I'll say that much. I'm not gonna call him an agent, but that dude definitely want his clout. Mills Lane says the shadow members have the most fun. Keep my name out. Facts as Schoolboy.
Hey, it's funny. I like that comment about the members, shadow member have more fun, because it is good when shit go wrong. Because now we don't know the two niggas that shot themselves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we would know them by name, and we would be going in on them we would have gave them 30 minutes of the show if we had known their name.
It's crazy because they said two of them were injured. It wasn't just one person.
It was a 2-for-1.
What happened? What happened? One of the ladies' guns discharged while she was checking it. You know, folks out here checking their guns with their finger on the trigger.
Maybe Tory showed up.
But yeah, she shot. It's probably one of those Tory Lanez joints where you hit the ground and started ricocheting all over the place. Yeah,
the foot shooting specialist.
Maybe he was just like, I want to support my people, so he decided to come out.
You never know. Virginia Slim says COINTELPRO highlighted how well they blended in with any organization, especially black organizations. For example, Fred Hampton's own bodyguard was one of the people who had him killed. Good point. Redemption Song says, I think Slim had a valid point that it is a bit unsettling. Slim says also, sure, we don't need to know his full-blown background story, but knowing what makes a person tick, what drives them, and where they come from is what draws people towards designated leaders. Quote, and that's quotations. Go ahead.
And that's the other thing, like, and I agree with Tariq with this, and I just touched on this a second ago. You don't need to be the leader of no organization. You don't need to give your loyalty to a so-called leader of some organization. You know, these are popular movements. So people out on the street, get your boots on and walk out there and join them. You know what I'm saying? It's not a situation where you have to be out here destroying property. You don't have to carry a gun. You don't have to be the louder person at the protest pushing your girlfriend around with an AK on your back and none of that crazy like that. You know, you could just be there and doing what and that's what we talk about the code. Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Because if you're not and you're minding somebody else's business, you might not be doing the right thing.
All right, let me run through this because we know Vanessa has to leave soon.
Yeah.
Muhammad Extra Code says COINTELPRO only work because we're collectively not on code. So when we create groups, of course, some dummies were able to infiltrate it. Muhammad also says Slim, the information is reserved for members, not the media. Proof right there that y'all don't want to be on code. Redemption says it's better to be clear on those things before an outsider exposes everything that could potentially mute the cause. Slim says, yeah, true, Muhammad. Maybe I'm just comparing those cats to the Panthers. Muhammad also says, oh, nah, don't do that. The Panthers actually put in work in the communities and grew. The NFAC just came around, so we got to give them time. We have to be patient. That's what we will do. We will be patient. We're not going to jump out the window and call him an agent like Tariq Nasheed called him, but we are keeping our eyes on the situation, as we said, since the very first time we brung up the NFAC. Virginia Slim says, see, how do you go from Obama 2.0 to the second coming of Huey Newton? Yeah.
It's closer than you think.
Mills Lane says he laughs at Slim. And then Muhammad says he laughs as well. Says true, he looks suspect. And for the record, Obama ain't do squat for us. We need to stop riding him. And then they say facts. Muhammad Mills Lane says he found out BLM didn't need black men and he mutated to Cobra Commander. That could be a good point. That might be his MO. Muhammad also says, laugh out loud, BLM don't want black men. And that's why I'll keep bringing up Darren Seals, RP. He exposed BLM before he was murdered. RP to that man. Muhammad says, agree, schoolboy. Keenan calling salute, boy. He said, we call that the chopper suit. And then and then Redemption says, polyester leisure suit. Mills NBA draft.
For real though, Bill's like NBA draft 2002. Hell yeah.
And Mama X says, actually, that is all true. That is true that all whites are racist. Now, a lot of them might not practice racism, but just being white means they benefit from our despair, schoolboy.
I don't agree with that.
And then Muhammad says, correct logic. And I'm still angry after seeing that interview because he was one of the many that were coerced into being an agent. Speaking about the man who, I'll probably put that in the chat as well. Not in the chat, but in the description. It was a guy who in the, I believe the 70s, he did it 70s and or 80s that did a tell-all interview with a news outlet on how he was forced to be an agent and spy on the Panthers in the Bay Area. Yeah, so we got a bunch of sports after that. So listen, before we get out of here, we definitely want to end it on more of a lighter note, and we're going to get to the celebrity while we still got Vanessa. Bear with us, Vanessa, real quick. We want to talk about Meek Mills really quick.
Oh yeah.
This is somewhat of an update. I called it a few shows ago where I said his lady would probably be mad at him trolling Nicki Minaj's fans while they gave her shout outs for being pregnant. That is pretty weird. And this article comes to us from People. MSN.com says Meek Mills splits from Million Harris nearly 3 months after welcoming son. We still have mad love. So the article goes on to say on Sunday, the rapper 33 posted a statement on social media announcing that he and Harris came to an understanding and that they will raise their first child together, a son whom they welcome on Meek Mill's own birthday. Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
As separate parents. Me and Miliano decided to remain friends and build our child as separate parents. So they're agreeing to raise the child separately. And the article goes on to quote him by saying, we still have mad love for each other, but we came to a understanding. Read the post. Then they say, read the post, which he has since been deleted. No fallout either. Just moving forward. Still love. This for protection, so social media won't think we're moving wrong. And I think there was another article where they spoke about a statement he made where he admitted that talking about his ex being pregnant was something he shouldn't have did, and that he was doing it in front of his girlfriend, and that it was a little crazy of him. So yeah, I think Antoinette is right. I don't think he's over Nicki.
Nope, he's not over Nicki.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think that it's very, very telling the fact that you have something to say about this girl and you called yourself moving on. Like that would be the detriment of your relationship. No female wants to sit here and listen to you talk about the next. Right. You know, especially being that, you know, his current girlfriend, she's not a celebrity, she's not a superstar or anything in that regard. So, you know, she's not in the limelight in that way. So it's really difficult to try to compare somebody to that.
Yeah, I think that was real bold of him. And if I had to guess or speculate, which is always not the best thing to do, I would have to say, yeah, like that definitely is part of what probably put a wedge in them in their relationship, or at least maybe the camel that broke, the straw that broke the camel's back. Steph, what do you have to say about Meek Mill becoming a custodial parent?
One, that's not for the world to know. We don't got to know that. I mean, you say for y'all own protection, because you know they don't want to say we moving wrong. Just be 100. You still want to fuck other hoes, all right? And ain't no baby holding you down. We get it, my nigga. You Meek, do your thing, but don't give us. You ain't have to give us this. We ain't asked for this. And not to mention, the Nicki Minaj thing, what he actually spoke on that, he said, remember that when they got into that spat in that store,
Yeah.
And that went online. He's sitting up there with his woman tweeting back and forth, arguing with his ex. That he said that right there is what started friction, and I believe it did.
I think so too. I mean, to me, it's self-evident. Schoolboy, you have anything to say on that, or?
As a co-parent, I don't know why this woman would want to be raising a child alone, because this dude is basically trash talking her ex. Like, it might happen, but if you're gonna break up that ain't the whole reason. There's a lot of stuff we don't know, but to me it looks like, you know what, this is a good enough reason. I could actually grab a bag and then we can talk about co-parenting later.
And also,
that's what
it's
it
telling,
sounds
if
like,
somebody's
man.
willing to talk that bad about their ex, what will they say about you then?
Yo, stop! Don't be on that same goofy shit she was on. You don't got to worry about that. If they got an understanding what he does and talks about about her, that really shouldn't have no bearing on it. But I get it that people are gonna have that situation. They're gonna have that in their mind, like, oh, they're gonna talk bad about me too. You know?
Yeah, but the goofy shit she was on is no longer his concern. They're broken up, so why still troll her and all her fans? Steph, what you trying to-
Listen, he was not trolling her with the pregnancy thing. Listen, all he did was laugh at something somebody said. It was funny.
He laughed at his own joke. I believe I'm paraphrasing, but he was talking about she wouldn't care if you guys were pregnant.
No, a fan had wrote that.
Yeah,
Meal
and then
just
he put comments under it.
He replied with the laughing emoji.
Yes.
That's it. That's not trolling. You just laughed at somebody's joke. It was funny.
I don't think Nicki Minaj takes the time out to reply to his debacles. But you know what? Nicki Minaj has more money, so she doesn't have that kind of time.
Ouch.
I mean, she got time. She got time for all the petty shit. One thing I found out, I don't care how rich black women are, they find time for the fuck shit.
Kelso says only thing Meek did wrong was admit he was wrong. Fuck that. London Taylor, it says salute to internet. Salute to London Taylor for joining us. Salute to everybody in the chat. Mills Lane says, I'm tired of Philly rappers in a bad light. Save us, Black Thought.
Yes.
Yo, I fuck with Philly hard, man. Before pre-COVID, I'm glad I got to go to Philly before all this COVID shit happened again. You know, I frequent Philly and I enjoy it out there. So yeah, I agree with Mills. Even though I'm not from Philly, you know, please, we need somebody with make some sense coming up out of Philly sometime soon. Real
Lil
talk.
Uzi.
Oh yeah, but nah. Kelso says, "Preach, King." I think he's talking to Schoolboy. Internet says, "Hey, Kelso, what up, Kelso?" AKA, I think
Kelso.
Yeah, I think they dubbed Kelso on Live and On Point, Kelso X as well. Kelso says, "How a regular chick gonna get mad at Meek for arguing with Nicki? She better play her proud single mother ass position."
Oh shoot.
Ouch. Kelso says, "Facts, King School." And then Kelso says, "Top of the morning to internet," and I assume the rest of us. Leonard Taylor says it was a microaggression. It was microaggressions. True, that's a good point. He didn't need to reply. That's a real good point, Leonard Taylor. And yeah, that definitely was a microaggression. Leonard Taylor also says it's true. I had Tasha K get at me one time because I said something. Laugh out loud. They find time. Yeah. So yeah. That's agreeing with Stephon. I'm sorry, Steph. I got your mic on, Teddy. Go ahead. Say it again.
My bad. But yo, you watch, you know about Live and On Point. You know what I'm saying? We had Tokyo Vanity in our comments talking about going in on us because we was saying did her boyfriend upgrade with his new chick. She took time out of her day and she let us know that she was a platinum recording artist who had lots of money. And she said, you know, she degraded us, but you know, but she just let us know how petty she was to come to the comments and and talk about this low budget thing we got going on here. You know what I'm saying?
Why do people still like tout that whole I'm a platinum selling recording artist? Hold on, bro.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly, so was Macy Gray. Ain't nobody out here singing her songs. Ain't nobody out here singing her songs.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Just because you got a
Shout-
platinum don't mean you really making something that people want to hear. Get the hell out of here.
Shout out to Macy Gray though, man, because she ain't did nothing. She at home minding her business.
Macy Gray, I'll fuck with you. I don't know what Schoolboy talking about.
Man, she sounds like Donald Duck. She sounds like Donald Duck, bro.
Okay, but for me, that works for music. That works for music, but it doesn't work for when she's acting. I'll give you that. When she's
her acting was terrible.
Listen, I don't care if she listen or not. Yo, what she did in training day was trash. You couldn't have gave her no less lines. I've never seen nobody butcher 4 lines in my life. I hadn't seen it.
See, I'm gonna show y'all an example of being on code, right? Her role was believable to me. Okay, it was believable to me. Okay, she did a great job. That was incredible.
All right, so Kelso says, Kelso X, holla at me for the bean pies.
Oh wow.
And then London Taylor says, don't do Macy like that. I liked her. Don't do that to Macy. I liked her. And then Kelso says, Macy Gray got writer's credits. The royalties hit different. She's a legend in the Alabasta community. Okay, salute. So today we spoke about Meek Mills. We spoke about Megan Thee Stallion, how she finally came out to talk about she got shot in both foots. We spoke about the protesters in Oregon. We spoke about the first vaccine ever given to a Black woman, a news anchor at that. We're very disappointed with her. And we spoke about a few other things, but I'm not going to run down the rest because it's the end of the show, man. You just go to the top of the show and listen to it again. We won't be going live tomorrow. I have some traveling to do. Feel free to watch some of the older episodes if you haven't seen them all. I did reference episode 4 today. That's a good one to watch if you haven't seen that one. That one got a little heated. J Doug went in, and then also we spoke about yesterday's episode, which got me in trouble with my family. I got some emails, some trouble emails about yesterday. I'm just going to say episode 10. I'm not even going to go into what
did I say? Because I know that you're trying to say it's my fault, bro. So what did I say, bro?
What did it? What was the line that did it?
Yeah, I want to know just so I don't make that mistake again.
I don't know what the line was that did it, but I believe the general census of the email was basically that we were laughing. They felt we were laughing at someone being an amputee. And
no. What we were doing again on code was we were supporting that Black woman, and we wanted to make sure that she was well taken care of in all the ways that she should be taken care of.
Oh yeah,
yes sir.
And Schoolboy does mean all. He does,
and I do mean all. All right. I'm done.
Speaking on code, me and Schoolboy were both on code. That white boy should have been tending to his paraplegic girlfriend, not beating on people's windows. We would agree with that, right? I
agree with that as well. And Vanessa, I know you didn't catch that part of the show. You only saw the beginning. I know you had a real busy day yesterday. Feel free tomorrow to watch that as well.
Definitely.
And, it kind of went left, but we meant well. We meant well.
I'm here for the fuck shit, so I know it'll be entertaining.
All right, so
midgets and quadriplegics, and it was incredible.
Yeah, midgets. The midget thing was also something they referenced to. But anyway, speaking of baby mothers, and I'm going to play. Over this past weekend, I got hip to a few artists. I asked Vanessa if she heard of this artist before. There's a few artists that I just got hip to. Some of you may know them, but I want to play a few of their songs at the end of this episode, especially speaking of baby mothers and, the Megan Thee Stallions and Meek Mill's girlfriend now being a baby mother. I'm going to play some song by some women. You know what I mean? I'm going to support the women and the gangster shit they be talking when they rap. So I'm gonna play a song by an artist that literally goes by the moniker Baby Mother. I'm gonna start with her, and then I'm gonna play some music from another woman that goes by the name of Jungle Pussy. So if you like some entertaining music videos and entertaining movies, I'm not movies, entertaining music videos that have cinematic feel to it and good songs, stick around for that. But this first video I'm gonna play is not that cinematic. It has a kind of a cheesy feel to it, but I think she's spitting, and this song is going to be this song is called Roses, and it's by a woman that goes by the moniker Baby Mother, and she's going to talk about riding on her man for cheating on him.
She be sliding. She be sliding.
She be sliding. Salute to everybody in the chat. Stick around for some tunes if you want to stick around. If not, we'll see you Thursday. We'll see you Thursday. All right. And we love you all for being in the chat. Salute to you all. Have a good one. This has been the Morning Rant.
Fucked up. Losing sleep, I can't afford to lose, but he don't give a fuck. He be laying up with other hoes, yeah, he be acting up. I told him if I catch him with that bitch, I got to quit. I got me and now my bitches on the highway, right? Tryna find my nigga in his other bitch, slide. Me and now my bitches on the highway, right? Bitchin' about my nigga in his other bitch, slide. We gon' act a donkey on this monkey and her mama them. I'ma act a fool, that's what you take me for. I open the door, I let niggas slide, I let niggas in. I'm just a friend, I be sucking, swallowing. I do all the favors, all the love labors. I buy all the nine laters. I be on they neck like rent is winning now and never later. Even let you put in my ass, you could've masturbated. Now you out here kicking back with other ladies, boy, you crazy. I got me and now my bitches on the highway, right? Tryna find my nigga in his other bitch, slide. Me and now my bitches on the highway, right? Bitchin' about my nigga in his other bitch. Fucked up. Losing sleep, I can't afford to lose, but he don't give a fuck. He be laying up with other hoes, yeah, he be acting up. I told him if I catch him with that bitch, I got to quit. I got me and now my bitches on the highway, right? Tryna find my nigga in his other bitch, slide. Me and now my bitches on the highway, right? Bitchin' about my nigga in his other bitch, slide. We gon' act a donkey on this monkey and her mama them. I'ma act a fool, that's what you take me for. I open the door, I let niggas slide, I let niggas in. I'm just a friend, I be sucking, swallowing. I do all the favors, all the love labors. I buy all the nine laters. I be on they neck like rent is winning now and never later. Even let you put in my ass, you could've masturbated. Now you out here kicking back with other ladies, boy, you crazy. I got me and now my bitches on the highway, right? Tryna find my nigga in his other bitch, slide. Me and now my bitches on the highway, right? Bitchin' about my nigga in his other bitch, slide. I got me and now my bitches on the highway, right? Tryna find my nigga in his other bitch, slide. Me and now my bitches on the highway, right? Bitchin' about my nigga in his other bitch, slide. Ryan to make. Fuck about my face, about my living space. You just a waste. I can't waste my thighs, my time, and now my energy. Trying to keep a nigga who not just for me. Loser if you loser, cause it's cheaper just to keep her. I'll admit that I'm a movie, but I don't come with a sequel now. Run into my people, then I really wish you well. They gon' run up in your spot, and I'ma see that ass in hell, yeah. Why you gotta lie about a bitch? Ain't no secrets, boy, it's been a while. I'm not a child, and boy, them fairy tales just ain't my style. Happily ever after turns to better after all. I be wishing I ain't need you, and I don't if I can't have it all. I got me and now my bitches on the highway, right. Tryna find my nigga in his other bitch, slide. Me and now my bitches on the highway, right. Bitchin' about my nigga in his other bitch, slide. I got me and now my bitches on the highway, right. Tryna find my nigga in his other bitch, slide. Me and now my bitches on the highway, right. Bitchin' about my nigga in his other bitch, slide.
Everyone, hi. I'm your host, Blackberry Love, here with something sweet and sour. Sean went on 3 dates today, and we have all of those lovely women here with us to proclaim, I'm in love with your nigga. Let's welcome Lisa, Eve, and Ashley. And finally, we have Sean.
I'm a real nigga, Sean. You know me. You know why I'm here. And I ain't with that fuckboy shit, like, miss me with all that shit. I do what I do, and the ladies, they love me, you know? It's nothing for me to find somebody. I just like to let the stars align. Found out about this show, figured I'd give it a shot. You know, I look good. Sexy ass nigga can't be just keeping this shit in the crib, on the block. Had to pull up, show y'all, nigga looking good. And I had a great time.
Fronting, of course. He says he don't even know them like that, but we have big receipts suggesting otherwise. Lisa is what a nigga needs but can't afford. Healer to her homegirls and a blessing to ungrateful motherfuckers. She knows what she wants and how to manifest it.
I'm Lisa, and I know there's 2 other bitches beside me, but I'm Lisa.
Let's take a look and get the real scoop on your nigga.
I got us some snacks. You want some of my Milk Thugs, babe?
No, nigga. I'm my own snack.
Yo, why you made me buy all these expensive ass snacks?
Nobody told you to bring sand to the beach, nigga. You see all of this? You see me looking like a pantry?
Damn, babe. There must be a broom in that pantry because you sweeping me off my feet. You dumb.
Your nigga, I be all alone singing songs with your nigga. I be on the phone, now I'm gone with your nigga. I be on the road, zip codes with your nigga. Hey, where you at? I be chillin' with your nigga, hitting splits back to back with your nigga. Damn, it's like that. I've been feeling on your nigga, hitting skins back to back with your nigga. I'm in love with your nigga, I'm in love with him. I'm the one he with when you can't talk to him. In me, he take the go see the plug with him. Wifey, JP, good luck to him. I'm the one for your nigga, I'm the one for him. You for fun, you the type to get the dub from him. I want the love, why you only want the funds from him? You not the one, no, you never meant none to him. I'm in love with your nigga. I be all alone singing songs with your nigga. I be on the phone, now I'm gone with your nigga. I be on the road, zip codes with your nigga. Hey, where you at? I be chillin' with your nigga, hitting splits back to back with your nigga. Damn, it's like that. I've been feeling on your nigga, hitting skins back to back with your nigga. Tell me what you do. doing? Why you ain't with your nigga? Why we chill so freely? Why he watching me? He in Miami. How you feeling? Bean spilling, then he acquired me. On kitten, I'm smitten, dripping out designer jeans. Feeling fertile between the legs. I told your face that I want some head. Your lips could be my couch instead. My lazy boy who lays me to rest.
She's into amphibians and organic steamed okra. Is Eve in love with your nigga? Hi, I'm Eve, and I'm here for love. That's my nigga.
Why did I even come here for this nigga? It took me about five years practice before I could say the word goddess. Yo, why we even here?
Quiet. You even read? I text you, like, where are we going? You didn't even say anything. Like, do you even read, nigga?
You know I be reading your mind, all in between the lines and shit. I know what you want.
No, you don't.
I do, baby.
Wanna fuck me so bad, but you're never gonna. Wanna fuck me so bad, but you're never gonna. Wanna fuck me so bad, but you're never gonna. Wanna fuck me so bad, but you're never gonna. Wanna fuck me so bad, but you're never gonna. Wanna fuck me so bad, but you're never gonna. Wanna fuck me so bad, but you're never gonna. Wanna fuck me so bad, but you're never gonna. This nigga think I keep my pussy in a vault for him. When he want it, he think I should go and put it all on him. Damn, these niggas really is dumb. What's love got to do with making me come? When he thinking he my Christmas gift, he not even making it till Thanksgiving. He will never know where my family be living. You ain't getting no to-go place of chicken. I just want it, I just want it. I just want the head. I just want it, I just want it. I just want the head, I know. I just want it. I just want the head, I know. I just want it. I just want the head.
Ashley is here for a lit time, not a long time. Everyone falls for her stick it wherever attitude. An online entrepreneur, Ashley is your one-stop shop for a good time.
I like sushi, but I like shrimp tempura. You know, I don't really like the raw kind, so let's take a nice fast drive and then get some cooked food.
So, who's really in love with this nigga?
Can I get a 10? Got you, what size are you?
Let me get a 6. You about to fall hard for me.
Boy, stop playing. You crazy about this ass.
Alright.
Everybody get down. Rolling with the punch. Thighs thick as mud. Pussy never funky like a song. If your blunts be funky, light 'em up. It's going on about a couple months. You know that I need it more than once. Don't let her repeat it more than once. Gotta beat it up until I hush. Gotta hear me out my needs at once. You can feel it out my weed, my bundles. Pay me for your lunch to eat it up. You know that I keep it heated up. Fantasies are free if they tropical. Frontin' on me is what you're not gonna do. Visions of my body so optical. I don't want your love if it's logical. So crazy.
You about to make me tear this club up. Somebody tell the DJ that I love her. And I'm willing to die about this pussy, man. About to change my life up like I'm Gucci, man. You about to make me tear this club up. You about to make me tear this club up. You about to make me tear this club up. You about to make me tear this club up.
Back up, back up, back up. Let me see it, let me breathe. Burning trees, maybe feel the breeze. Don't talk to me unless you talking cheese. Checks, accounts. Overseas, wanna see JP, gotta pay the fee.
Love can make it hard for a bad bitch to separate her dreams from reality. So, let's check in with our lovely ladies to see if they're in love with your nigga. Wow, that was interesting. This has been another episode of I'm in Love with Your Nigga. I'm your host, Blackberry Love. Catch you next time.
Nectar Chef.
Say it one more time. Yeah. I'm a bad bitch, nigga, you can't kill me. No, you can't smoke me out, just $100 bill me. These niggas kill me, acting like I owe them something. A grown woman, I won't sacrifice myself for nothing. I'm going places, making plays, I got a bigger vision. I'm tired of $20 booty calls and supervision. You was a star until you went and tried to play the moon. You broke my heart and then I turned into a fucking goon. Yeah, I'm a bad bitch, nigga, you can't kill me. No, you can't take me out, I can't show you the real me. Smoking Colorado dope, keep your mid-grade dick. Burning money all week on my hot girl shit. I'm a bad bitch, nigga, you can't kill me. I've been my own fucking shooter for a while. Bitches funny style, acting like a child. I got 4 of those. I'm not trying to keep up competition with you silly hoes. Beefing over clothes, hating from outside the club. Cause they niggas show me love as if he could never handle me. I can't take your nigga, but that shit don't take away from you. These niggas never bout it. Better love on you, more better boo. Tell them I'm a bad bitch, nigga, you can't kill me. Yeah, you can take me out the hood, but bitch, I'm still me. I'm not gonna switch up my persona for no white folks. I'm not gonna bite or swallow tongue, cause bitch, I might choke. I need a whip that's clean enough to check my makeup in. Cause you know mirrors treat you better than a fucking friend. They blending in so they be aggy when you standing out. We're supposed to shine together, now you acting cubic. I'm a diamond, I'm a bad bitch, nigga, you can't kill me. I put it on him when I want it and he pay me. He don't like my pockets empty, he don't play me. But he won't keep me cause I can't give him a baby. Fuck it, I'm a bad bitch, nigga, you can't kill me. I used to dream about the day that you would kill me. Was trying to feel you, but you wasn't the real you. You gotta FaceTime your kids and I know that ain't cool. Keep niggas out from around my kids because they never stay. It ain't no Uncle Mike, no mama's friend, no Uncle Ray. I gotta look out for my little ones, that's fucking game. I put a hole in you for one of them, it ain't a thing. Keep niggas out from around my kids because they never stay. It ain't no Uncle Mike, no mama's friend, no Uncle Ray. I gotta look out for my little ones, that's fucking game. I put a hole in you for one of them, it ain't a thing, bitch.
Hey, Lee.
Ginger don't really give a fuck. Won't catch her cooling with humanoids. Maybe Freddie, TT, Crystal, and them. You call that hard work? Try pulling 99 cow titties and not getting at least one of yours tickled. Off the grid, off the gram. Grazing. I see you, Ginger, gallivanting the open land. Yeah. She spends long hours with her favorite friends. All them other motherfuckers just pretend.
I'll swallow kids if he start eating vegetables. New York nigga with the love for Arizonas. I got the juice, he bout to start sipping on. You see how it be, you ain't know you needed me, now I'm all in your room. Look at you, want a piece of me, the ripe fruit hanging off the tree. I'm a mango, mommy, pero te quiero, papi, but not more than I want to be making so much money. You gon' hit my phone when I get home. You gon' sing this song like all day long. Stank attitude, bad allergies might embarrass you. Make your granny see me at your barbecue. Papa plan B, stop the family. A father not cute. I'm starving at the function. I'm marveling at your cousin. Do he know where the stash is at? Where the lobster, the crabs, and the pasta's at? He laughed at me. He do though. I could see his Maduro inside my noodle. You gon' hit my phone when I get home. You gon' sing this song like all day long. We don't fuck, he just picked me up from Trader Joe's. Carry all my groceries and lick on all my toes. Tryna cuff, but I know you gonna leave me alone. When my phone ring, it's cause a nigga seen the way I grow. We don't fuck, he just picked me up from Trader Joe's. Carry all my groceries and lick on all my toes. Tryna cuff, but I know you gonna leave me alone. When my phone ring, it's cause a nigga seen the way I grow. You gon' hit my phone when I get home. You gon' sing this song like all day long. You gon' hit my phone when I get home. You gon' sing this song like all day long. Catch up, hoes better brand. Catch up, hoes better brand. Catch up, got my 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 hoes better brand. Catch up, hoes better brand. Got my hoes better brand. Catch up, hoes better brand. Catch up.
Fire right now, fuck nigga. I had the biggest comeback, nigga. Niggas thought it was over with for me, nigga. Y'all tried to count me out, nigga. I ain't forgot about that shit. Y'all niggas think I forgot, nigga. I ain't forgot about none of that shit. So I'm back with a chip on my fucking shoulder, nigga.
Wrote this with my eyes closed, or rose in Moscato. Intuition, inner visions flow from out the cosmos. Niggas ask me how I made it, I begin if I know. I just went with my soul, and the rest just follow. She's a good girl, fuck that bitch, I'd rather deal with hoes. Say no to CashApp, I ain't tricking, bitch, you must be psycho. But I'm prone to lie though, just don't tell all my bros. I roll gelato in the Bronto, so I got the sky closed. Damn, it's raining, grab my cane and pass my Prada poncho. The boots was leather with the tattoos, those the Randy Macho. Goggles, Ferragamo, condos big as Costco. I popped the rhino, then she swallowed like it's Mr. Sacco. Mirror, mirror, who's the illest? Please don't tell me I know. Mirror, mirror, who's the realest? Wait, don't tell me I know. Mirror, mirror, who's the rarest? Please don't tell me I know. Modern life like Rocco, but I still pray to Shango. Mirror, mirror, who's the illest? Please don't tell me I know. Mirror, mirror, who's the realest? Wait, don't tell me I know. Mirror, mirror, who's the rarest? Please don't tell me I know. I devour my goals, and that's word to gaucho. Rebel, outlaw, reckless, vato, ghetto, desperado. Aim the Draco, eating tacos, take your breath like Tyclos. Adjacent to Van Gogh, I'm chasing my shadow. The pain is the shackle, embrace it for battle. In the gym for 7 weeks, I feel like Boris Kojo. I mean Cujo with a new hoe, sober watching Kuso. With my old hoe, I forgot I fuck my hoes in duos. Fofo throws in 2 hoes, loopholes out with pool. That piece of coupon for designer, Gucci coat was 2-tone. School old Parasuco, shoot like Tony Kukoc. Pajama Samson, no Delilah, put that on my tombstone. Mirror, mirror, who's the illest? Please don't tell me I know. Mirror, mirror, who's the realest? Wait, don't tell me I know. Mirror, mirror, who's the rarest? Please don't tell me I know. I devour my goals, and that's worth the gauchos.